pretty much all.
We are live. What is good, people? It's been a while. Open Field Podcast over here, talk some football as the season dies down. We'll start it off. We'll kind of warm things up, see what people are feeling about. Before we started, Michael and F-Dot were talking about the Ohio State-Oregon game. So, what are people's thoughts?
Yeah, I'll just get it off my chest real quick. Yeah, we just got outclassed, outmatched. I think everyone on our team played poorly, or Oregon. Everyone in Oregon played poorly. In Ohio State, they came ready to play. I just think, with that being said, I think Dan Lanning did an absolute disservice on the defensive side of the ball. Starting off trying to run single high man with Jeremiah Smith, the way that he's been playing this year is so dumb. It's just asinine to me. Asinine. And too, with that, the play calling, I thought we kind of had our bread and butter on being aggressive, throwing the ball down the field this whole season. And we start off the game running RPOs and run plays that all got stuffed. And look, the first 2 drives I'll give you. Go try to run your game plan. But once it's not even like it's not even like, oh, they stuffed us a couple of times. We got like 5 or 6 starts. It was every single time those plays were getting cut out. Just put the ball in Dylan Gabriel's hands. I'm not saying that he would have gone out and thrown for 400 yards today. We probably still would have lost, but at least give it to him. The dude is a six-year senior. Like, put the ball in his hands, and they just didn't do that. But with that being said, this Ohio State team, there's no excuse for them not to win the championship at this point. Like, they are, when it comes to offensively, I don't think that Texas can stop them the way that they're playing now. I think Texas has the best chance for sure. But if you're going to tell me that those Georgia corners are going to stop Jeremiah Smith, I don't know. So I think at this point, it's championship or bust for them for real. Does Ryan Day get fired if they don't win the championship? Probably not because of this game. I think that saves his job. But, yeah, shout out to them boys, though. They really played well. I'm not going to hate on any of them boys. Caleb Downs, absolute going to be a stud. Whenever he comes out, he's a first-round pick.
Yeah,
and Buka is a guy. Jeremiah Smith, we all know, bro. Jeremiah Smith. Lonnie, I agree with what you were saying in chat. Like, that's facts. Like, he should not have to play 3 seasons. He should not, bro.
Nah.
But yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, I'm just basically saying the same thing Mike said. They just disappointed college football today. I think their team was really, they had the weapons, they had the guys to kind of go further in this playoffs, and unfortunately, they just kind of fell short, bro. Ohio State is really talented, and they just were the better team. Like, from the first snap, you could just see the energy just by defensively what they were doing and offensively what they were doing. It was just unmatched.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Question everyone knows, but
Lonnie, you were quiet. Is he quiet for anybody else?
Is this
Yeah,
better?
a little bit. Yeah, that's good.
All right. Today was a bad day for college football for a lot of reasons. What conference does Boise State play for?
MWC.
Mountain State.
What conference does Oregon play for?
Big Ten.
Big Ten.
And what's the one conference that everyone hypes up as the number one conference that, even if they lose 3-4 games, they should still be ahead of people in other conferences?
SEC, man.
This doesn't help the case. This isn't like this is a new year. This is a new format, and it was a chance for these other conferences to show that they can compete with the SEC. And Boise State, people are saying, hey, they don't deserve it because of the level of competition. And what happened? They got destroyed. Oregon, not SEC. They shouldn't be number one. They're not from SEC. They shouldn't be number one. And they got mollywopped by OSU. So it was like, I don't like that because also if Notre Dame ends up getting blown out by a team or something like that, these things are bad for the overall product of college football. And I thought Oregon was gonna lose, but I didn't think it was gonna be like this because it was embarrassing to start off. It was one of the worst starts.
Embarrassing. No, that was the worst half probably I've ever seen from any team. I know it was the worst half that Oregon's ever played, and they've had some really bad games. Georgia, a couple years ago, LSU 2010. Tyrann Mathieu made me cry that day. Thank God I didn't cry.
Number one seed, you can't start off a game like this. Like that.
Hell no.
That's
You
crazy.
just can't. You can't, man.
So I could see a situation where another conference, like they go undefeated, but say Georgia next year they go whatever and 1, and they're still gonna get the number 1 seed because it's SEC over everything now. So that's unfortunate. But no, Jeremiah Smith, he's a dog. He's a monster. He has
I'm sorry for people who saying that Ryan Williams ain't better than Jeremiah Smith.
Ryan Williams is not better. Like they have,
shout out Ryan Williams.
Similar levels of talent. They have similar levels of talent, but Jeremiah Smith is more complete. He's a more complete receiver right now.
Also, he's 6'3", 215, 220. Yeah.
I feel
at 19.
I was saying this in the group chat. I feel like certain positions you shouldn't have to stay like all 3-4 years or whatever to declare for the NFL draft. They don't do it. They don't do it in the other sport. They don't do it in NBA. They shouldn't be doing like a running back. Running backs don't get paid enough as it is, and like you don't like paying like for an old running back because it's like, oh, the wear and tear, they can't be the same, yada yada yada. So let them come in earlier, because instead of getting 200-300 touches in Wisconsin, you can be the second string for like the Panthers or something like that. If you're like young, you're gonna be like a young prospect. You're probably be taken second, third round and stuff like that. So I think like Jeremiah Smith, he should not have to wait another 2-3 years to declare, because he would be like wide receiver 2 maybe this year or 1.
And even that, I don't think a lot of even if it was a role where you didn't have to wait, I don't think a lot of players would not wait. Like I think the guys that were good enough would, but I think that there's just enough, development and coaching to where I think that players aren't just going to be out of their minds and try to declare for the NFL draft when they're not ready. You look at a guy like Jeremiah Smith, I mean, the dude's physical enough at this point to go into the league. As you said, he's 6'3", 215. It's not like he's going to have issues.
For this draft, would you choose him or would you choose McMillan? If you need a first wide receiver out the board, you choosing him or McMillan? They're both nice.
Yeah, they're both great. I guess I just go McMillan just off the fact that he's just older, maybe a little bit more.
Jeremiah's like second off the board. He's second wide receiver off the board.
For sure.
And he's a freshman.
Luther Burden ain't better than Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah, Luther Burden.
He's not better than Jeremiah, though.
Yeah, he's not better than Jeremiah.
He's not better.
I'm a GM, and I can choose between him or Jeremiah with the age and the upside.
Yeah, definitely Jeremiah. Yeah, sure.
So yeah, some of these positions, running back, wide receiver, I don't think they should wait.
Yep,
that's just me.
Yep, I think too. And Marley's like comment, it's not that what Lonnie is saying is necessarily true. It's that people that already are SEC supremacy, we'll just say it like that, that's what they're gonna look at. They're not gonna care that Tennessee lost, because they're gonna say, "Oh, Alabama had a better shot, bro." We all know Alabama was not winning anything. Maybe they come up against Boise State or something. Like I just don't think that they could compete with some of these teams in here. Like, yeah. So it's like people that actually are watching the games know, but as a overall product, I agree with him because of the fact that people aren't going to really look too deep into it, especially in the SEC. We all know that the SEC boys love their SEC teams for the most part, So yeah, I'm agreeing. But shout out to Cam Scappa, bro, for real, because people were hating on him because he said he's the best running back in this class, and I'm not gonna say he's the best because I think there's other guys, but the one thing I'll say is shout out to Ginty, the season he's had, all that, and I'm not saying that there's really nothing that he was gonna do in that game for the most part, but people acting like that Ginty is by far and away the best prospect in this class, I don't agree with that. I think that there's guys close to him. I do. Like the MWC, the talent that's in there is bad. And we just saw today, how bad Oregon's defense played. That was the second week where he had 200 yards. So I think people just have to relax on that, especially when they're not playing good comp. But, he had no holes to run through as well. Like that was tough. And yeah, Penn State, by the way, not sold. That game was way closer than it looked at the end of the score. Yeah, and Drew Aller, bro, you throw dots, my guy, but the fact that you think that you can just hit those double coverage, skitty post with the slot throws. I mean, he made 3 or 4 throws like that. And at first I was like, is he really just not reading the field well? And I think it's not that. I think he just thinks that play is going to work. And it's not, bro. Not with that talent that you have. So, yeah, I'm not sold on Penn State at all.
I do like Drew Aller, though.
I like Drew, but I just disappointed with how many, because you got to remember that was probably a OPI on that like he literally had his hands right there and he got pushed from behind. They didn't call it. And there was just a couple throws like that exact same thing where it's like, bro, you need to clean that up. But as I said, I still like Drew Aller. But yeah, he should not come out this year. I think he's got to stay one more year.
Yeah, one more year.
Yeah.
One more year. Yeah, get the draft board, go up more on the draft board. I think he'll show out next year.
Yeah, but as of right now, Ohio State got it because, I mean, Quinn Ewers is Will Howard's played better than Quinn Ewers has in the playoffs at least, and also for the season. Although Will Howard had some stinkers, so Ohio State's my pick to make it. I think that they can seriously beat anyone, especially with the fact that Georgia's got Stockton, and we'll see how he plays. But I really do think that this team is the best team in college football.
Brandon's here, Riddell.
For sure.
What to do?
What's up, Brandon?
You got any thoughts on college football today?
Well, Quinn Ewers stinks.
I have a take on Quinn Ewers.
Hey, that one pick was.
He had a good second half, though. He had a great.
He did have a decent second half.
He shout out to him. But that one pick, it's like, dog, come on.
Yeah, that pick was bad.
In that play of the game.
Also, I know this is only a couple of days ago, but Jalen Milroe. Oh God,
Nope.
He
needs to go
entering
back.
the draft this year? Because I hope he's not.
I hope
It hasn't been declared.
He needs another year of development.
He is who Riddell and Early and some of y'all say Jalen Hurts is. That is what they say Jalen Hurts is.
I think he's worse. I think he's worse than that.
He is worse than
way
that.
worse.
Yeah,
Hey, I give Jalen Hurts his credit when it comes to the deep ball. You know what I'm saying? I give him credit there. Hey, but like Jalen Milroe, I criticize Jalen Hurts, and I think everything I say is pretty valid. But if you say he's like that bad, then obviously the better comp would be Malik Willis in the NFL right now, dude. No, at this point,
I don't even think Malik Willis looked this bad.
DTR, he's probably now the worst one of that archetype where he can't throw the ball. He just runs.
The only thing, hey,
DCR.
What an arm though! Like Milroe has an arm though. He's just
also he's
well,
a
I can't tell
runner than those two. He's
He's
a way
just
better runner than those two.
inconsistent,
But
man.
I mean, it doesn't matter if you're that bad as a passer and making decisions. But everybody who said that, everybody that thinks that PFF is the ultimate bar none of football, just remember that I think around 4 weeks ago they had Jalen Milroe as the number 1 QB prospect.
They did.
Just remember that when you look at PFF. Shout out to PFF though; they still do their thing, but they ain't perfect. I'll tell you that much.
No, they are not perfect. But everything has its flaws.
My take on Quinn Ewers, because we all know he's leaving.
Mm-hmm.
I think business-wise, the best move would be to go to North Carolina with Bill Belichick.
That would be
You
interesting.
think that's the team that offered him $6 million?
I don't know if that's the team that offered him $6 million, but
That'd be interesting.
yeah, he's like the first QB to try to like be under Bill, who's gotta have like all the eyes on him. So that's great for draft stock, things like that.
Yeah.
Bill's gonna teach him, but Bill also has like, oh hey, I got a guy for my first quarterback. That's good for future recruits and stuff like that. It's a win-win for both of them. So
I think it's a win-win for Quinn because
Can't
we
hurt.
all know that Quinn has issues as a decision maker in taking sacks. I think if anybody could help him figure that out, it would be Bill and his staff because they seen Brady play and Brady was the mark of that. Is it going to help Quinn Ewers? Not sure, but I think that it could be a nice chance. I think it also, as much as the media eyes will be on him, when he gets out of Texas, like there's not going to be this moniker of you have to win a national championship. You have to play like a Heisman. Like that's the expectations that were set on him. So I think if he goes somewhere else, there's probably a better chance that he'll succeed because the pressure's off of him. Because as much as he's not been good, I think that the pressure has really taken a toll on him. and the injury
Yeah.
that he had. I think both of those things factor into why he's been playing so bad.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. I think that would help him going over there. A lot less pressure.
Hey, and if it doesn't, then we know who he is.
There you go. I don't know.
Because he got some type of talent. Like, I mean, he has accuracy. He can throw. His his decision making. I think
The traits are there, man. The traits are there. He just got to get
he
coached
has
up.
traits.
He got to get coached up. That's all.
But we also need to talk about the man of the night, that Arizona running back.
Oh
Damn.
man,
Scatbo.
put the team on his back.
Yeah,
He had like,
He
he
was
had like
on his
dying
back.
on the sideline. You see him puking, throwing up. Every other play, he's going out so he can either get fluids or so he can puke. And he still basically almost gave him 200 yards.
Mm-hmm.
That was crazy.
Didn't-
That was like one of the craziest performances I've seen. You literally see him dying, heaving, his eyes all dilated, looking in the sky, puking, then puts his helmet on, gets 8 yards, a first down, goes out the sideline, puke again, and then gets a touchdown the next play.
Oh,
That's like
40-yard bombs.
That's like
Like-
a Jordan flu game, man. Yeah, he
That was
was doing it.
crazy. That was crazy.
I say in the Iowa, I'd never seen. I didn't even know who he was till the championship game. I was like, who is this kid? And then I just looked him up or whatever. But yeah, that kid's. I think he's gonna be for real.
That's a dog.
Yeah, he's
and, like-
special. He's special. He's special. That was a world-class performance.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is like, oh, he runs a 4.65, blah blah blah. First of all, Bucky Irving ran a 4.55, by the way. And also, I mean, when you look at him run, he ain't slow.
He has
You
game.
can't say
He's-
he's slow.
He has game.
He's faster. He's faster on the field than he is, 40 times. I'm cool with that, man. I'm cool with that.
Right.
Like say
And that's
like,
what I'm
Sometimes it's overrated, man. Like the 40 times is sometimes it's just so overrated. Like,
They
bro, when
absolutely
you
are.
get in
They
that
absolutely
when you get on that field, bro, the speed on the field is way different. It just is.
Yeah, also
Yeah.
because I feel like too, when you're a running back, like you have those initial 3 steps to get going, and some guys just can't get off a line like a track speed like that. So I think that also is a big reason why guys don't have good 40 times, because they just have to start from nothing. At least when you're in the game, you get a couple steps to really start, and then you get going. So yeah.
Yeah.
You know, something I was thinking about when it comes to like this upcoming draft, and we'll do mock drafts in the future. You know, if we're still around, is the value of the number 1 pick this year. Because now, obviously, the New York Giants are in this weird situations where, because they won, you know, Malik Neighbor. Actually, I'm glad they won because I won my bet because they won. So I'm actually okay with them winning and dominating your bum ass Colts, Brandon.
Hey. Don't put that evil on me, all right? They ain't mine nothing.
Hey, man. The Colts are fool's gold, man. That's tough. AR got to figure out who
pretty
he wants to be.
pretty bad.
But the reason why I brought this up is because the Giants may or may not get the number 1 pick. It could be the Titans, it could be the Patriots, it could still be the Raiders, I guess, but they feel like winning recently, so I don't think it's going to be the Raiders. Now the question is, who is going to be the top picks? Because a lot of people there's a lot of, you know, things floating around social media that the number 1 pick is going to trade back. And I've been saying, you all heard me, I said the Giants should trade back. So all this news about people trading back and the number 1 pick, and we thought it was consensus Travis Hunter, but now it's questionable. Is it Cam Ward? Is it Shador? So I'm going to ask your thoughts about that, but I want to attach it to another question about Travis Hunter because this came up too. Travis Hunter in college was an amazing receiver and amazing corner. However, how much value does that have translating to the NFL if you can't guarantee he's going to be an elite corner or an elite receiver? Is he worth like a top 20 receiver and maybe top 10 corner as a number 1 pick? And this is like high-end predictions on he could be lower in both aspects.
I don't think that he's gonna play both sides. I just don't believe that.
Yeah, I don't.
Get
no
out of here
way.
with that. First
I don't
and
think
foremost,
so.
First and
I don't
foremost,
think
he ain't playing both sides. That's number 1. And the
Yeah.
team that will draft him, I think he's going to lead towards corner. That's just my personal opinion. Say you go to the Patriots or who else could possibly need you? So a team like the Titans or something like that, because I don't think they go quarterback in this draft. I think they're going to wait. If they if they draft him, they're gonna go off traits and they're gonna, hope to coach him up so he can be that elite corner. I mean, he has all the physical traits to be an elite corner. I do believe he is an elite corner in this game, and he can be. So if they draft him like as high as they draft him, I think they're drafting him off the potential of what he can be. A Patrick Peterson, guys like that. Guys that could be like ball hawks. Guys like Champ Bailey or something like that. I mean, we hold Travis in high self-esteem. We view him to be like a Charles Woodson or a Champ or Patrick Peterson, somebody like that. So if they draft him off that, I'm fine with that, and that makes a lot of sense. Honestly, Travis Hunter is he has so much talent, and obviously he has like the stamina, and then you could put him on, you can put him on offense.
He'll be a special teamer.
Yeah, you can make some little packages for him, throw him a couple of passes or whatever. But I think mainly he should be corner. That's just personally what I think. They'll get the most out of him at corner instead of receiver.
I don't know if this is a hot take, but I actually don't think he's gonna go number one because I think the way the draft is working right now, like he's the most hyped player in college football, and so because of that, everyone's like, yeah, he's the most hyped player. He's gonna go number one. But then you have to think about he plays two positions, and both positions aren't number one pick type. Usually, to go number one, it's like quarterback or
a lineman,
an O-lineman, or like an edge rusher.
Yeah.
Corner and wide receivers don't go number one. So I think he's going to fall a little bit, maybe not too much. But at the same time, I do think he could be a great corner. But is he corner number one in this draft? No.
Yeah,
is he wide receiver one in this draft?
No.
So I think like when the hype dies down and like we come to like really like drafting off like, all right, what do we have on tape? He's not the best corner and he's not the best receiver. And if you're not going to use him as a tweener, you're not going to draft him as the number one corner or number one receiver. If team's like, oh, we only want him as a corner, he's not going to be the first corner taken off the board. If someone's like, they only want him as wide receiver, he's not going to be the first wide receiver taken. That doesn't make any sense.
Especially with the level of, like, when you look at the Patriots, there's so many holes they have to fill for them to go out and get a corner is like, to me, if I had it, I would either go tackle, but I really would want Tep for them because they need to get someone dynamic on the outside for Drake May. It has to be done. So that's why I could see them move back.
It all depends on how they do it free agency though. How they want to do they want to be aggressive in free agency, fill those holes by buying some guys, of course, for the O-line. They do need a lot of O-line help. They do need wide receiver help. But man, it's hard to evaluate that now because free agency hasn't hit yet. A lot of guys don't want to go through all that building the entire team through the draft. It's a process. It's a little slow to speed things up. You want to be aggressive in free agency and then go off the picks. So it's hard right now in hindsight, but I mean we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Or they could trade back, to accumulate picks. A lot of teams do that, which makes sense.
Yeah, but I'd rather see Travis at corner because I think as a receiver, the number one thing is that his run after catch is like unbelievable. But like as we've said, there's more refined prospects when it comes to other things as a receiver. And I just think if you only have him as a corner where he can do all the reps in practice and play all the snaps, I think that he can legitimately be at least a top 10 corner, maybe even top 5, because the way that he be locking down people is kind of crazy, especially the fact that he's not even practicing. Like, really, the only guy that ever gave him trouble was that Stanford. Like, real trouble. Like, obviously.
Yeah, he was nice. He's nice, though.
Like, that Stanford guy absolutely abused him, but that Stanford guy's like 6'3", 6'4". He's huge. So I think if he gets in the gym and he sticks to one position, especially corner, like, he can be legit. So, yeah, that's what I would say about that.
No, I think he'll be elite no matter what position they put him in, but I don't think he's the number one wide receiver or corner in this draft. So I think he might. I think it's gonna shock some people, but yeah, don't. If you're on FanDuel, don't bet him for number one, please.
Yeah, Travis Hunter is going to be a weird player to kind of diagnose because, I mean, I doubt that value of the two-way ability unless he's like really one of them ones on both ends, that values doesn't really mean much going into the NFL.
You know, it comes down to the coaches, Riddell. Like, if he gets an old school coach, like they're gonna be like,
That's
hell
ain't
no.
even that.
Yeah, they're like, no, you're playing one position.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's, I don't even think it's an old school coach thing, because even me, unless I can guarantee you are going to be one of them ones on both sides, there's too much risk of you playing both sides of the ball.
Exactly, especially with a high draft pick. That's capital. That's investments for these franchises. It's like
And
like a top 5 pick on you, and then what happens if you get injured playing like doing a wide receiver package? You get injured, then the fans can be like, oh my god, you should have just kept him at corner. Da, 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 da. Like.
Yeah, and he's already shown he's had injury problems in the past.
Yeah, and Travis has had some injuries. He has been nicked up throughout his career.
Yeah.
So that's not really going to translate well in the NFL if you get hurt now. You got to bulk up. You got to play one position. I'm sorry. I mean,
he got bulk up.
Like, and
this
it's
is fantasy land.
And I think also asking a offensive or defensive coordinator to not be able to have him do all the reps and have him in the film room, whatever, that stuff's going to be really hard to sell one of those guys on, because they'll be looking like, okay, if he does both sides, then he's not going to be able to put the full work in for this side of the ball. And so how are we going to guarantee that he becomes the best visibility at both positions when he's not getting the same reps as everyone else?
Yeah, because that's also giving him privilege. That's like, oh, someone that a wide receiver that might not make the cut on the team is doing all the wide receiver workouts and stuff like that. You're only doing half of them. You're only doing half the film study, but you get a spot because you're Travis Hunter. That's not gonna fly when it's a 53-man roster.
Yeah, and in college it's different because obviously there's no one on Colorado that's better than him on either positions. When he gets to the league, it's gonna be different. It's not gonna be a marginal gap from where he is compared to the corner 2 like it is in college, or the receiver 2, or whatever. It's going to be hard to keep him off, fine, but it's never happened. And honestly, I don't think that it's possible, because I don't think that you can go out your career healthy playing even 120 snaps. I don't think it's possible in the NFL. I just don't. The way that I see guys get hit, bro, I don't know, bro.
He wouldn't last 5 years. He wouldn't last 5 years doing that.
Yeah, I guess one of the fortunate things for him in particular, unless he's really going to be one of the better corners in football, but even then, that's a question mark, because like you have to go level of competition. You know, that always is the conversation when you pick someone from the school like Colorado. So, like in that situation, let's say high end, he's like around a Trayvon Diggs level. And then as a receiver, he's, some snaps, maybe high end. I don't know. I don't want to be too generous.
Do you know what this is like? Because we actually see this all the time. Like young players, they get to be on special teams and return kicks. We saw with Tyreek Hill, Patrick Peterson, Tyrann Mathieu, Odell. They got to return kicks and stuff like that. And then they go off their rookie season and they're like, oh, you're too valuable. You're no longer playing on special teams. Yeah. It's the same thing with Travis Hunter. You're too valuable on defense or offense, no matter how you draft them, to be able to do both. We can't risk you. You can't risk you being hurt. Patrick Peterson, he returned. I think he broke the record for the rookie most returns for punts or something like that. But the second year, he wasn't returning punts anymore.
Nope.
Do y'all think
he gave him 5-6 touchdowns? But next year it was no. Odell, I think, returned a few. So Tyrann Mathieu was one of my favorite returners in college football. I love watching him return kicks.
I don't think he did that at all in the NFL.
No, do y'all think Travis Hunter would be able to kind of push to these teams that he would like to play both sides? Do you think he's gonna try to go out there and actually push that he wants?
He probably will.
He probably will. I wouldn't advise that, because that'll probably hurt your draft stock.
Yeah, but I think he will. I think if he did it in college, it's never been done at that level. So for him, we're talking about him as a person. I think that there's no telling him that he can't do something similar in the league. But the teams aren't going to look at it that way, because they're always going to take a guy on one side that's if you're giving the half production on either side of the ball, and one guy's giving double your production because he's playing it most of the time, they'll take the guy who's giving you double.
Yeah.
So
I feel that. With that said, all right, talked about college football a bit. Might as well talk about the NFL as of right now. It seems like we kind of get the general idea of what the season's going to be. There's a couple more playoff spots to be determined, but we kind of get the idea of who's going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right. As of right now, the only ones that are not sure is the Bucks and the Falcons, and then maybe the Broncos, Bengals, and Dolphins.
Yeah.
But let's be real, Broncos are beating the backups of the Chiefs. Like, if they can't beat the backups of the Chiefs, I can't really do anything about that. So how are we feeling about the playoff picture?
I hope by some miracle that the Broncos do lose, because I like Bo Nix, man. This is cool. He's played well above expectations, but we all want to see Joe Burrow in the playoffs, man. Come on now, we want to see that. We all want to see that. We want to see Joe Burrow versus the Bills. Come on now, we want to see it.
Crazy.
I hope by some miracle, somehow, some way, that Carson Wentz is looking like Carson Wentz MVP. Carson Wentz in 2017 or 2016, because I do not want to see Bo Nix in the playoffs in the Broncos. I'm sorry, I just don't want to see it. I'd rather see Joey B, man.
They're gonna stomp him in Buffalo. Unfortunately, it's just not going. It's gonna look rough. It's gonna get rough. It's gonna look like last year when the Steelers went. Last year the Buffalo got stomped with no TJ. It was just like, we already knew what it was. It's just like, throw that game away.
Yeah, Carson Wentz. We all know Carson Wentz is a bum.
It's better for football.
We obviously want the Bengals to win.
Yeah, it's just better for the ratings. Like, bro, everybody's gonna tune into that game. Like, come on, bro. Even with the Bengals defense being trash, like, it's still Joe Burrow can still.
Dude, it's all-time bad
with Josh Allen. Like, it can still be a great game. I can still see a great game.
Yeah, it'll put up a lot of points.
Yeah.
It's all-time bad how bad that defense is.
That defense is terrible.
Whoever the DC is.
No, so the DC is the same DC that gave the Chiefs the trouble the last couple of years.
Yeah.
The problem is the owner and the GM. The talent on the defense is disgusting.
It is bad outside of Trey Hendrickson.
Other than Trey Hendrickson, yeah.
And their offseason acquires was just terrible too. Like the guys that they picked in the offseason, just they're not playing to what their standard is.
They ain't acquired much of nothing. My goodness.
Yeah, like Stone haven't really been looking great over there. They lost DJ
Cam Taylor Britt getting sunned by Cortland Sutton, making
Cam Taylor Britt. I thought was a guy last year. He was coming on. I thought he was gonna creep into the top 12, but man, he stinks.
And they lost Sam Hubbard.
He is not good. He is so hit and miss, and it's more misses than hits.
It's really bad. And it's like, I mean, the Mims throw. Shout out to both for the first throw to Mims, but those guys got absolutely burned on that. Burned. Like, they were supposed to have the leverage, and they just got burned on that double move. And then also the prayer that Bo Nix threw out. Shout out to Bo Nix. That was an absolute dot. But there is absolutely zero excuse that you had two guys there and you don't get that ball incomplete. I'm sorry. That is embarrassing that happened. And when I look at that game, I don't think Bo Nix, honestly, I don't think he played that well. I think he was fine, but there was mistakes that he made, and you still let him drop close to 30 on you.
Yeah.
So
that's bad.
Yeah. I just think when it comes to the playoffs, you got to be able to not run the ball like a lot, but you got to be able to run the ball in short yardage situations, and you have to be able to play some sort of defense, and the Bengals don't. I think, obviously, I'd love to see the game over the Broncos, but I don't know if they have a shot, because if you let the Bills win outside, dude, good luck. Good luck.
Hopefully Miles do lead the Browns. Come over. We need an edge rusher ASAP.
Oh, yeah. Well, Miles did say, like, there's a report came out. He did say that in the offseason, he's going to have a sit down with the GM, the coach, and all that stuff, and say, what are we going to do as a franchise? Because he wants to be a part of a winning culture. He said he loves the Browns. He loves Cleveland. He wants to stay there. But they have to have a plan in place. And if they don't have a plan, then he's going to ask for a trade. So there will be a sit down. There will be a sit down this offseason. We will see on Myles Garrett because he does want to win. He does not care about being the highest paid and being a beast on a bad team, a crappy team. So we're going to either the Cleveland finds out a plan and they map it out to him, and it better sound good. Because if not, he's going to ask for a trade.
Realistically, the only plan that they can honestly give him is draft well. That's the only thing that they can do is draft well because their cap space is cooked.
Yes, it is. That Deshaun Watson contract is looking pretty bad.
Yeah, if I was him, I'd save the
All-time bad,
conversation
actually.
and request a trade right now. I understand that he's been there for a long time, so that's probably the only reason why he's giving them the grace and they, draft him number 1. They believed in him, blah blah blah. Is that team's not getting better? I'm sorry, it's just not like.
If anything, it's about to get worse. A whole lot worse.
He has 2 years left, right? He has 2 years left on his contract.
Miles has 2 years left.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
I would just
something
save
about the
it.
Deshaun Watson contract that people need to realize: the Browns can't just change his contract. They can't just shave off. He has all the leverage.
He already restructured.
They
Yeah,
guaranteed all that money.
They restructured to shave off the 2027 dead cap space after his contract. His 2025 and 2026 is fully guaranteed. They owe him $97 million against the cap.
Why did they do that? Why?
They can't
They're
do
that desperate.
Yeah, they
I
can't.
don't understand.
And someone's like, "Oh, just cut him." If they cut him because of how much dead cap they would get, they would also have to cut Myles Garrett. They would have to cut Denzel Ward. They have to cut Jerry Jeudy because they couldn't afford those contracts based off the dead cap.
You're being cap hell.
That's how badly the Browns fucked themselves.
Yeah.
They're screwed.
Yeah, but at the very least, let's not be completely unfair and use recency bias to, indicate our opinion from back then. Back then, the Deshaun Watson was like a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm just saying that.
No. He got that contract during those allegations and him being suspended indefinitely.
He was like a top 3 QB when those allegations came out.
Yeah,
absolutely. But you knew that suspension was coming. You knew it was coming.
But
it was in the midst of that allegations. You knew it was coming.
The suspension was there, but that didn't matter as long as he came back a top 3 quarterback.
But why would you give it all that guaranteed, though? Why would you give it guaranteed?
Because the Browns, similar to the Jets,
they just do dumb stuff.
We're one quarterback away to thinking they'll be a Super Bowl and you have to keep in mind too, for both these teams, they've been not just mediocre; they've been god awful for years, right?
Yeah.
They haven't been in the playoffs for years, so they thought that guy is going to be the difference maker. And the thing about Deshaun in particular is that there was multiple teams that were trying to give him a contract too. So he was going through a bunch of deals. So, I don't want to obviously recent history indicates that was a bad deal. 100%. Deshaun Watson is the worst quarterback in football. But
you never go.
It's not. We can't say that from back then. Baker Mayfield, he was in the
Panthers this time.
Yeah, but we all thought he was a bust. We thought he was trash.
Yeah, I thought he wasn't good.
But Baker wasn't that bad with the Browns, honestly. Truly,
the Browns
was it played that bad with the Browns?
Dude, his last year,
but he had a shoulder injury.
He was
though.
God awful.
He was. But he was hurt. He was playing hurt. He had a shoulder injury.
He needed surgery, but he played through it.
But he played through it. So I think that was one of the main reasons why he played so bad that last season. But bro, I ain't gonna lie, Baker. I know it might be crazy to say, but he brought them a lot of success the short time he was there. And I know it wasn't a lot, but he did a lot for that organization for the short time that he was there.
He did a lot more than in the past 10 years I've seen the Cleveland Browns. He did a lot more.
See, I've thought here's how you know that the Browns are a shitty ass franchise. Excuse my language. Here's how you know that they're just trash. They drafted Baker Mayfield. He made them relevant.
He did.
And then it got to their heads, and they replaced them. And their first thought was, "We need to replace the person that made us relevant." And now look at them.
Yeah,
this is what they get. This is what they deserve.
Did he make them relevant, or did Odell Beckham Jr. make them relevant?
Yep.
But Odell was kind of dealing with injuries. And he was going off his second year.
Huh?
Odell was in Baker's second year. I'm saying the first year, he broke the. I think he broke the.
Yeah, he had 26 touchdowns.
Yeah, he broke the rookie passing
or 27.
He won Offensive Rookie of the Year. He made them Browns got
He was
somebody.
second.
They got
Yeah,
the rookie of the year. They got somebody. They got a guy, and then Odell came and
he did his thing. He it was solid. It was a good solid rookie year.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying. Well,
Well,
when people were like, "Oh yeah, they might be contenders," that's when they started stacking that team with Odell.
facts.
Yeah.
Jarvis.
Start of that.
Jarvis,
The
yeah.
start of
I mean, yeah. I
they
mean,
were
he gave
putting
them their first playoff win in how many years? How many years was it? It was what 10, 20 years? I don't know
Yeah,
how
and
many
what-
years it was. But it was crazy.
Which
I think it
shows
was
you
since
how
like
bad-
'99, bro.
Yeah,
It was
like
a
that's
while.
crazy. And it was against the Steelers that year. The Steelers went what 10-0 the first 10 weeks.
most
Yeah.
fraudulent 10-0 team of all time.
It was.
was the
It
fraudulent
was.
10-0
It was
team.
fraudulent.
That's
But,
why
like,
they
they were
thought,
still a good team. They weren't supposed to beat that Browns team.
Yeah, they were still good.
That's why they thought loading it with talent, which they did, was going to be. Oh yeah, we're going to be contenders very, very soon with a Baker Mayfield who played so good his rookie year.
Yeah.
What actually happened was a lot of terrible football from Baker Mayfield and the Browns. And you can say injuries or whatever, but he was on the field playing. And we
Yeah.
all remember the infamous video clip montage of Baker Mayfield missing Odell Beckham Jr. in so many passes. So, at the end of the day, Baker was just awful at the latter half of the.
It was a lot of turmoil too because Odell, as he often does, his family or whatever, creates a toxic
Doesn't make
environment.
it any easier.
Oh,
on a young
he's
quarterback.
not throwing the ball to my son, or he's not throwing the ball to my brother, and his family gets involved, and then there's murmurs around the internet, and then the GM gets basically forced to get Baker out of there. They're listening too much outside noise. So it wasn't really a fair situation for Baker.
They
at all. I
didn't,
will
they
say
didn't
that.
utilize Baker the way
There was-
Odell left. Baker was cooking for a little bit, and then he got hurt.
There was murmurs. There was murmurs before, the social media craziness that Baker was not able to use Odell properly. Like how you feel about Kyler and Marvin, that was happening with Odell and Baker way
I
before
agree.
any of it got very dramatic.
Nah, for
That
sure.
he was not able to utilize
It
Odell.
was nowhere near this bad.
Yes, it was.
Odell still had 77 catches, like 1,000 yards, at least like 4 touchdowns. It was nowhere near this bad, but it
Marvin's
was bad. I do
still getting
remember that.
stats too.
Say what?
Marvin's still getting stats, and you have to remember that's rookie year Marvin versus peak Odell, where people thought he was going to be one of the greatest receivers of all time.
Was he at his peak though? Didn't he have?
He
his
was
ACL
still
like a
tear
year
before?
or
No,
two
he
after.
was-
He was still at peak. He was still
He
at
was so
peak.
Yeah,
good,
he was
though.
still him. He was still him.
Yeah,
Because
that's fair.
before when he was on the Giants, I think he still had like 1,300 yards.
I don't know who the coach was. I don't know if it was a current one, but they also were putting Baker under center all the time,
That's
make
true.
him be a legitimate pocket passer, which he's not. He's a shotgun guy. That's what
true.
he likes.
That's
So
true.
I don't think the Browns did a good job utilizing him either.
That's
I'm
true.
not caping for him at that point because I didn't think he was good when I look back at it. Yeah, and there's just something to be said for the Browns and
Well,
the Jets.
Mike,
Players go somewhere else and
Mike.
they succeed.
Mike, what quarterback is good for the Browns?
That's what
In
I'm
the
saying.
history of
That's a hard argument.
the Browns,
That's what I'm
the day
saying.
they were
None of them are
established,
good.
that organization, what quarterback is
That's what I mean.
good for the
You-
Browns?
Otto
It
Graham.
seems like okay.
Don't give me Otto Graham, man. Stop that.
Respect Otto
When did he play?
Graham.
1954.
Yeah,
It
I
don't
don't
matter.
know.
You said Browns, and I named one of the greatest. quarterbacks
Riddell
of
is
all time.
actually the biggest Brownscaper of all time. Shout out to you, Riddell.
Otto Brown is a Brown. I don't know what am I caping
No,
about?
but Riddell, there's a thing.
Okay,
where
you're
almost
talking about
every
back when they
single
were playing
player-
with soft helmets. That's cool. But I'm just saying,
Almost,
honestly, the Browns organization
That
is
was a different
crappy. They don't know
organization.
how to treat their players. Let's be honest.
No.
Yeah, wasn't that Brown team actually like the Ravens team now or whatever?
When?
That franchise with Otto Graham.
Yeah, technically, yeah,
That's technically the Ravens right now. So
technically, yeah.
And I think it was the Browns.
But they were in
And-
Baltimore though.
yeah, the Browns, and then they moved to Baltimore, and then they became the Ravens, and then they established
Yeah.
a new franchise, the Browns now in Cleveland.
So
it's
I don't think that's correct. I would have to look at it.
It's the original Browns franchise is not this Browns franchise.
I know
No,
they
no,
were
Lonnie's
located
correct.
somewhere else, but I think that team for Otto would still qualify as a Cleveland Browns franchise, not a Baltimore franchise.
No, yeah, it is still considered Cleveland Browns though. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I do think it's
fair.
still.
It's just a different group of people who are running it. But I mean, regardless, we could name a lot of players who left the Browns and played a lot better, except for guys
Absolutely.
who were considered all-time great, like Joe Thomas and Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
That's about it.
But QB specifically.
Shout out Jerry Jeudy though.
There is none.
Shout out Jerry Jeudy. What do you say?
No, I was just saying QB specifically. Like
Yeah, they don't have any QB that's worth anything. I mean, oh my God, Brandon Weeden. What did they do with Brandon Weeden? Who else? Oh, Johnny Manziel. They had Johnny Manziel. Like, they make the dumbest decisions at quarterback.
Apparently,
to draft Brandon Weeden when he's 28 years old. I mean, my God, what are we
Who's
doing?
that one dude they
in the
had?
first round, I think. What are you, first rounder? At the end
By
of
the
the
way,
first round?
Otto Graham's last season was in 1952. So
Yeah, no, I looked it up. It technically is the Ravens franchise, but when they remade the Browns, like the Browns, of course, got to keep the history, yada 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 yada. But the original franchise that moved that Otto Graham played for was the Ravens. Technically,
No, it was the Browns. That's why they kept the history.
no, but it's Riddell. It's a different regime with
different
with different people
from
running the
1950 to
organization.
1964. They were the Browns.
Right.
In 1995, Art Modell, the owner of the Browns, announced plans to move the team to Baltimore. In 1996, the NFL
That was the Bill
deactivated the
year.
Browns franchise but agreed to reactivate it by 1999. The Browns' intellectual property, including the team name, logos, and hippies, were kept in trust.
Man, Brandon Whedon's like Cooper Rush, bro. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, at this point,
Probably worse.
the Browns got to figure out their quarterback. And
And they're wasting a good head coach too.
They're not gonna. They may as well trade Myles Garrett. Please give him his. Please do that, man. Justice.
I can help them rebuild.
They look cursed, man.
2 firsts for Miles.
Cursed.
You probably get 2 or 3 first, man. Honestly.
I mean, the Browns are tied. Oh, they were like tied for the first seed. They're all 3-13. They could get their Shador or Cam Ward or Jackson Dart, or they can get if they get Jalen Milroe, they're cooked.
I could see them. I could definitely see them drafting Jalen Milroe in the second round.
Please, cook.
I could see it happening.
I'm not saying like obviously it's about picking the right quarterback, but if you look at like the talent that they have as of right now, I mean it's better than the Raiders or the Giants.
Oh, yeah,
So,
the
I mean-
Cleveland Browns are still a good team.
Yeah, they
But
had
it's just it's just cursed. But there's also parts of their team that were good last year that aren't good now. Like the
the
O-line.
defense took a regress for sure. That defense regressed. Secondary regress.
And their running back position is screwed now because Nick Chubb's not the same. Nick Chubb's probably done.
I
Yeah.
told y'all.
Top
I
five
told
top 10 guy.
y'all. I told y'all.
That's
I
tough.
told y'all this off season. I told y'all it's gonna be rough for him. You didn't want to believe me.
I mean, he was
People
coming
are
off an
coming
injury,
down,
so
bro.
like that was the
Yeah, what?
expectation.
I mean, bro had overcome injuries so much it just wasn't gonna bet on.
Yeah,
the fact
dude,
that,
you can't keep having to come back from injury. That shit's hard, man.
That's true.
It's not
Yeah,
easy.
but no, I feel you.
I think he had an ACL
yeah.
in college, didn't he?
Yep.
See?
Yep.
Dude.
Yes, he did.
He's a
Yes, he
shot.
did. He's had a lot of them. It's actually crazy.
Yeah.
But getting off of the Browns, going back to the playoffs. Yeah, not down in the Chiefs. Looks like every single season they start playing well at the end, not playing well because they played well this whole season. But I'm saying they start really playing good football on either side and low key dominating teams. Also Steelers are frauds. Russell Wilson, I like Russell Wilson. I'm not saying he's bad, but like when you look at his pocket presence, it's cooked. Russell Wilson's a guy when he gets pressure, he finds a hole and goes one way. He's not going to maneuver through the pocket. And now that his athleticism is dead, any sort of pressure, he's basically cooked. He's cooked. So to me, I don't see a world where they even win. Honestly, I don't think they win a game because
Pittsburgh's only chance to win in the playoffs is if they face the Texans. That's about
But
it.
even
The
but TJ
Ravens.
Watts looks
That's
suspect.
about it.
TJ Watts looks
I want
suspect.
them to win.
I
Though.
haven't seen TJ Watt really dominate a game for 5 weeks. I haven't seen, and I don't trust the Texans either. That would be a really hard game for me to choose who's going to win.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
if George Pickens ain't healthy, George Pickens is not healthy. It's clear he's still not. Like hamstrings are tricky, and
Yeah.
he's not at his best. They are screwed big time.
It's Pickens or nothing, man. That's all they have. Freiermuth, cool, but he ain't a guy that's
Najee,
going
no.
to
Jalen Warren.
transcend. He ain't going to transcend.
Jalen
the
Warren's
offense,
better than
honestly.
Najee Harris. Yeah.
Jalen Warren is absolutely RB1. I could see it. Come on, like let's be honest. Najee Harris runs in mud. He runs like he's like got a tractor tied to his belt.
Cinder blocks.
He is. Yeah, I just don't trust Najee
He
Harris.
keeps
I'm
getting
sorry.
1,000 yards though. He gets
that
1,000
what?
yards. He gets 1,000
Yeah.
yards every season though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
gets
but
a lot of carries.
they're barely. And
He
it's
does get a lot of
17
carries. Yeah,
It's a
that's true.
17 game win season. Come on now. So
Yeah, that's true.
and yeah, outside. I mean, you have Calvin Austin. That's cool. He coming along, man. But he needs another year to be a real established household name guy. So, and Russell, of course, you know he's not gonna actually transcend the offense. He's not old school Russell. He's lost a step.
No.
He's lost a few steps actually, and he's due for turnovers, man. Like
I'm not
Russell
gonna lie, though.
Russell just makes those bonehead plays that you cannot make. You saw it against the Chiefs, man. Like, bro, you can't be making those types of throws. I understand it's a Chiefs team that's getting better, and their pass rush is really coming alive. Even without Chris Jones, they had a pass rush. Their secondary is fine, but to get dominated like that in that type of a fashion, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing to watch. This Steelers team is in trouble. They really are. I really don't. It's a waste of a playoff spot, honestly. It is because I don't really see them doing anything in the playoffs.
I'm so glad Riddell's camera isn't on for this because after watching the Chiefs, as a Patriots fan, as a Tom Brady fan, I give up, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Hey, man.
This is how
man.
this is
Say
how
it
I'm
to my
crashing.
face.
No, this is how bad I'm crashing out. Fuck a three-peat. They might win the next like two or he might win 5 in a row at this point. Like I don't know how do you beat this asshole?
How do you guys?
It's so annoying, bro. They're an annoying team, bro.
Guys,
It's just
you guys
such
need to.
Thank God my team's on the AFC, baby.
Hold on. You guys need to shout out Patrick Mahomes because these last 6-7 weeks he's been playing brilliant football.
Come on,
Brilliant.
So unfair.
Brilliant. He's 26-11 on the season.
Bro. It's so unfair.
Hey,
It's not fair, bro.
And he's been
bro,
dude. He's been doing it. He's Xavier Worthy's coming on. Now you got Hollywood Brown. Travis Kelce don't look like he running fake routes anymore. He's actually getting open now. He's not looking slow as dirt like he was previously.
No, he's still slow as dirt, but he can.
He's getting open though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
he's actually
working better.
He's actually being a difference maker, like we've seen him be in so many years. So it's like this Chiefs team is coming alive, man. They're starting to win more by a wider margin. They're starting to get some turnovers. Kareem Hunt is the RB1 looking right now. Pacheco, let's shut you down for the rest of the season. Because honestly, man, he's not healthy. You can see it. Pacheco's not running with that burst anymore. He ain't got it. But so I mean, they can make some noise, man.
I got to see Tom Brady win 6 championships, so I'm happy. At the end of the day, I got to see my nigga win 6 times. Besides, unless you're a Patrick Mahomes fan, you can't say the same. So fuck you. So I'm cool with that. But no, I'm mad that the Chiefs are getting away with the luckiest fucking run I've ever seen in my life. Like no matter what happens, it's something every week, and it pisses me off. Every week it's something. Either a rookie offensive lineman freaking making a penalty to end the game for a 10-second runoff, or a missed field goal, or a half a foot outside the line, or a stupid ass interception, or a block kick. It's something every week.
Final.
The Chiefs with Taylor, the Swifty witchcraft is strong with them, and
Lonnie,
you can't fight.
Witchcraft was
Lonnie. Good teams figure out a way to win, man. That's all it is.
Not saying that they wasn't impressive.
That's all it is. Yo, God's on their side. The Swifty devil magic is on their side. They can't lose.
Whoa.
Hamburger loving asses on their side. They can't lose.
No, now we're going.
This is where I have to stop you. Now, when Tom Brady was having these lucky passes and all that stuff like that, there was no devil magic But as soon
No, they had that devil magic.
soon as the black man,
we had it.
They had
as
that
a black
devil
man,
magic.
Real
do it,
recognize
now
real.
it's sinful.
Real
Now
recognize
it's
real,
sinful.
Hold
up,
Now
hold
it's just,
up, hold-
he's doing
hold-
some dark
nah.
magic.
No,
Now-
Brandon,
now
Butler
it's
is
sinful.
no,
No,
Butler
every
is
time y'all do
Don't go
this,
in
you
with
see
this
how white
stuff.
America,
Brandon,
you see how white America just sits here.
Brandon, I was rocking with you until you took
You
it
see how
racial.
white America
Wait,
just
wait,
changed
wait,
your
stop.
mind into thinking this
Brandon,
black man
stop.
is cheating.
Brandon,
All right,
Brandon,
let's
Brandon,
Brandon,
Patriots haven't
time
been
out.
lucky.
Let
Time
me
out.
add on
Let
to
me-
Brandon real quick.
Let me read the super chat,
Patriots
and then
haven't
you
been
can
lucky?
you can
Patriots
you
weren't
can
lucky back then?
continue. You
We're
can
not
continue.
saying
You
oh
can
my God.
continue
We're gonna
after
do that
the.
for luck.
You
You can
can
do it for every
continue.
champion that's
You
ever
can-
That's
won
why
it.
we're not
You
doing
can
it.
continue
That's why me and Beer
after I
saying don't
read
do
the
it.
super chat.
Read the super chat first. And then
I'm not.
All
I'm
right,
not with
all right.
doing that. By the way.
All right.
I'm saying if
so
you're gonna do it for Pat,
context
that's
clues.
the only issue.
I got you, my boy. You wanted to send us a $5. We do appreciate it. New year. Not a
Appreciate
Falcons
it.
fan, but watching that, what's with the coaches not managing time well and not using by watching the game, what's with coaches and not managing time well and not using timeouts? You must be talking about a Falcons game. I already gave up on the Falcons. I hate Raheem Morris.
Oh no, Raheem Morris.
You
It's
talk
been
about
all
you talk
over
about against the
ESPN.
Commanders.
It's been all over ESPN. If he called a timeout, they would have been able to kick a field goal to win the game.
Yeah,
And he had 2 timeouts.
If we're
I hate Raheem Morris. He should be fired. So
Hold
The
on,
Falcons should have won the game.
hold on,
But he didn't
real
call a timeout.
quick. It just shows you how much power a head coach has when it comes to calling timeouts. If you guys ever have a chance, go watch. I believe it's called "Do Your Job." The first one they did when they beat the
Love that
when
one.
they beat the the Seahawks in 2014. They have the Seahawks get the Javon Curse catch. He catches it. That you want to talk about devil magic? That was devil magic that
That was
day
insane.
because everybody always talks about Russ not passing the ball at the goal line. Nobody ever talks about the devil magic the Seahawks conjured to even get down there. And
That's
then Bill Belichick just stands there and stares at their sideline. Matt Patricia's telling him to call a timeout. Josh McDaniels telling him to call a timeout. Tom Brady's telling him to call a timeout. And they're all just staring at Bill because Bill has the final say on whether or not they call a timeout or not. Now, Bill saw the chaos on the Seahawks sideline, so he just let them make the mistake instead of giving them a chance to calm down and do all that. I bet money. We just never hear about it. Everybody was telling Raheem Morris called timeout. He just either didn't think about it or he just forgot. It just shows you the level you got to be because maybe they're freaking out and this and that. You can call timeouts all you want. Remember, in the NFL, the only person who's allowed to tell the ref to call a timeout is the head coach. So the offensive coordinator can run down there. All he wants to cuss at the ref to call a timeout. He ain't calling nothing until the head coach says something. So it just shows how much Raheem Morris has to be at least calm under pressure when you're trying to win the game.
Hey man.
Oh,
no, you go first.
Back
Sonny.
to think were the Patriots the best dynasty ever? Yes. Did we also have some magic? Hell yes. The
Every
Michael
dynasty does.
every dynasty does. The Malcolm Butler pick.
That's what I'm saying.
Carroll getting dementia early, deciding not to give Marshawn Lynch the ball. 28
At the one.
That was the dumbest thing.
Yo,
Oh my God! Don't
way
get
my
me
family-
started
the
about
way my
the
family
con-
we
oh
like
my
walked
God.
away from the TV.
Billy Condon missed field goal,
throw it out.
AFC Championship.
Oh, I had an hour-long
That's Billy
argument
Cundiff's
with
fault. That's
somebody
not the
about that.
Patriots. Blame
No,
your
that's no-
kicker.
That's no dark
The
magic.
puck
No,
rule.
blame your kicker.
Tuck
Oh,
rule.
no.
Blame
Dark
your
magic.
kicker
The
after
tuck rule is where
Dark
this
magic,
all
dark magic.
started. The tuck rule is exactly where this
Okay,
all
we
started.
don't have
Okay,
to do
They
this.
invented
No,
a
no,
rule.
I'm not with
Even
this.
Tom's like, I didn't even know what the
Freaking
tuck rule was.
Like, dude,
Okay,
that wasn't
that's
even
another
a
thing.
thing.
But people forget that rule existed for years before that,
But
and
they never
people were
called it.
benefiting from it.
Man.
Now, come
I ain't
on now.
never seen it called till then.
No,
They just never. Okay, bruh.
I've
Let's
literally
not
seen
act
it
like
called one other time. I've literally seen it
until
called
somebody
one
popular
other
does it.
time.
Let's not act like that thing wasn't around, Brandon. Oh, you
No,
want to
I-
call?
I
race-
ain't
I'm
never seen
I'm
that.
feeling
I
some
ain't never
racial.
seen
that shit.
I'm feeling some
How many
racial
tuck calls
animosity towards the white man over here, Brandon. If I want to be nasty about it, just because you was whooping your favorite team, don't mean you gotta be like that. It's okay.
Hey. It wasn't every time. It wasn't every time. We did win
How many
twice.
times has
Don't
the
do that.
tuck rule
Yeah,
been applied today, like in this season?
No, it's
That's why don't talk about luck. Don't talk about refs. Don't talk about luck. It's whoever wins wins.
Oh, if you're
To
a
me, that's
Patriots
what it
fan, I
is.
want to hear shit from you. I want to hear shit from you. Got to say. I
no.
want to hear nothing.
Look,
There's
Can I-
only
Just keep
one
it
game.
both ways. Keep
There's
it both
only
ways.
one.
Yeah, keep
game
it a buck. Keep it a buck.
There's
Come on now.
There's only one game that I would apply the luck moniker, and I was like, y'all lucky you won that game, and that was the Raiders game. When Aiden O'Connell fumbled the ball out of nowhere, that was so lucky.
that was the center's
was
fault. The center
extremely
snapped
lucky.
it
That was
way
crazy.
too early.
Yeah, I was like,
But
damn.
look, real quick, all I'm gonna say about the Chiefs, like, look, obviously, I was trying to be nasty, saying they're a really good team. They keep finding ways to win. And that's what you respect. Now, I got to see a team three-peat before I say they're going to do it. I'm not with Lonnie saying they're going to win the next 4 because when people thought when the Seahawks whipped Peyton Manning, they were the next dynasty. We saw what happened the next year. So you just got to show it to me.
That loss destroyed them. They were never the same after that. That Super Bowl loss.
Now this team, they found a way to get better. They found a way to get better and gel at the right moment where people start making plays. I still think they can be beat. Now in the playoffs, you just got to do it. Eventually, Lamar or Josh, you just got to do it. Like eventually, Peyton did it against Brady. You just got to do it. So I'm not going to like for instance, when the Ravens go in an AFC Championship game, I'm not picking them. I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm not picking them to beat Mahomes. I'm still picking Mahomes. But you just got to do it at this point.
But let's say in the AFC wild card, even if the Ravens win, they have to. Don't they have to go on to the Bills side?
Yep, go to Buffalo, play the Bills.
So Mahomes doesn't have to face both. He has to face just one.
Yeah.
And if I'm Mahomes, I'd rather play the Ravens than the Bills. I think the Bills are a better team than the Ravens.
He got the Ravens number.
But
I agree.
No, I'd rather take.
Honestly, if the Ravens, if they win their playoff spot, obviously we got to hold our horses on that. We got to hope they win that. And if the Ravens play the Bills, bro, run Derrick Henry 35 times. They won't be able to stop him. They're not going to be able to stop him. I guarantee it.
They won't.
If they just run the ball on the Bills, they play that old school, just ground and pound. Keep Josh on the sideline.
Yeah, keep Josh.
The Ravens gonna win that jump.
Literally, do exactly what we did the first game we played them. Literally, exactly.
I guarantee it. That's the formula. They're not gonna be able to win.
Perfect. They're not going to be able to win that game. They're
taking time of possession really matters.
And mind you, our secondary was terrible during that time. Mind you, the secondary was.
The defense is better now.
Let me not look at these comments because the Malcolm Butler pick was great film study, and Brandon Browner told Malcolm Butler what to do before the play. Go watch the do your job thing. You'll see Brandon Brown tell him what to do because the season before that he played for the Seahawks, so he knew what play they were running. And the Falcons won. The Falcons just crapped down their leg in the second half. And the Patriots, because if the Falcons crap down the leg and the Patriots didn't make plays, we still don't talk. We still they got blown out.
Random.
Come on now.
Random. Honestly, both of those Super Bowl wins
can be true. Two things can be true.
Hold on. Both of those Super Bowl wins could have been losses if you just run the ball. Run the ball both times.
Then I'd be like, okay,
Falcons,
Mahomes.
Run the ball.
Brandon, I could be like, okay, in Mahomes' first Super Bowl, if Jimmy Garoppolo just takes a little bit of air off the ball, what's his name, catches the ball.
If he's more accurate, pass.
Like we could do this with every single Super Bowl. Where if this didn't happen, this other team wins. So like, look, man, it happened. They won. Mahomes won. Hey, I'm not gonna be nasty. I respect the Chiefs. They're probably gonna win it. I just don't think so. I gotta see the 3-peat before I say it. It's never happened, and with better teams than this Chiefs team, and they couldn't do it. So it's never happened before.
Random question, and then we can move on. Is it fair to say that the competition compared this year compared to those other years where those teams could 3-peat is lesser?
I off the top of my head, I'm probably gonna agree with you, but I have to look. I can't say that. That now you're talking about different eras and how other teams played and things like that. So I can't say that. Like the Patriots had 2 chances to 3-peat, and they couldn't do it.
But I would say those other teams in the AFC that they had to go through were a lot tougher than the AFC teams that the Chiefs are gonna have to go through.
Like, okay, I'll say this for the.
I don't think that's true.
I don't think that. For instance, the
outside the Ravens and the Bills, who else in the playoffs is gonna give the Chiefs a lot of trouble?
Those are pretty good teams. What are you talking about?
The Ravens and the Bills is all you need.
You can't say other than them.
You just said that they only have to play one of them.
Yeah, hold on.
They do, but I'm just saying they had to play to both of them in the regular season.
But, okay,
they won one, lost one.
Let me say this right now. Okay, during the second Patriots, like when they went to 4 straight Super Bowls and won 2 of them or 3 of them, I can't remember. For instance, the Broncos team that won in 2015. I understand Peyton was washed, but there's no defense like that in today's league. that defense, the no-fly zone is a legendary defense.
You
that
also
defense was
can't play
nasty.
defense like that anymore.
But and
you
then
can't.
also
You just can't.
But also, even like in 2016 with the Steelers team, that Steelers team that had Big Ben, AB, and
Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon Bell, they could never beat the Patriots. Never could in the playoffs. Never could. Also, that team would fall on its. Blake Bortles
Couldn't beat anybody.
Blake Bortles walked in their crib with Saxonville and beat them in a shootout. Shootout.
Yeah,
that's because they had back when it was Ben, AB, and all them. They weren't the Steelers. They were an offensive powerhouse. They always had
ugly losses like that.
Were always
People forget Blake Bortles almost played in the Super Bowl. That's how close he got.
He did.
He almost played in the Super Bowl. So
that Jacksonville team was stacked.
So I'm not going to say that the teams are less, because I think, for instance, I think this this Bills team could go toe to toe with that Steelers team and probably win, because the Steelers are going to fall on their ass. Josh Allen is a better quarterback right now than Big Ben was in 2016.
Nah, but their defense would get fried on a steak.
It'll be a shootout, but it'll be a shootout. But when Blake Bortles walks into your crib, Michael, and walks away with a dub in your crib in Pittsburgh, and then you told me a markedly way better quarterback with better weapons. I understand the defense is less. I'm still might pick this year's Bills team to beat that 2016 Steelers team. So I'm not going to compare.
But Blake had some weapons. He was like who Sam Darnold is now. He had Allen Hurns and he had Allen Robinson, and they had a good running back, I believe.
Yeah, Le'Veon Bell, Leonard Fournette.
Leonard Fournette. They had Leonard Fournette, so they had some weapons, and Blake was actually playing well. He wasn't no absolute scrub that we all know and love now. But he was actually very serviceable back then.
They had Blackman.
Yeah, they had Blackman too. Yeah, Blackman was going crazy.
But like Allen Hurns that year was like low key nice, because I remember he went to Dallas, thought he was going to be good.
Yeah, Allen Hurns and Allen Robinson were.
Allen
Robinson was an elite separator. He had good hands
back then.
He was fast. He was good.
They had TJ Yates out of Alabama.
He went to the Bears. Went
TJ Yeldon
was okay for like
TJ Yeldon. Oh yeah.
Also,
he kind of stunk. I didn't trust him
because I need to owe Sam Darnold an apology. He's doing what Brock Purdy should have done this year. He's the one that's going to get the $50 million contract.
No, he's getting that money. He's getting that money.
There's a lot of things we can talk about here.
30 though, 40 a year.
No, he's if he.
No, they're saying it's 50.
He's getting like because I don't know how many football shows y'all watch. Colin Cowherd's talk. He's going to get 50. Bill Simmons, a lot of big people. No, hold on. A lot of people in the football world are talking about them. If I'm the Vikings, I'll let them go. I don't let him go. I tell, hey, JJ, get as healthy as you want. You sitting again. Let's see if we can do, because Sam Darnold has been amazing this year. I still, when it comes down to it, let's just say if the Vikings make the Super Bowl, am I picking him and the Vikings to beat Mahomes? No, like there's markedly better quarterbacks, better than him. But I can't hate on him anymore. They playing. He's playing very well. He's playing very well.
Man, I'm still not a believer.
I don't know about 50. Like 50 is a lot. 40, yeah, I would actually consider it. 50's, but I will give Sam Darnold
saying 50 a lot on ESPN and like other sports shows.
I know.
If you tell me the Raiders, if let's say the Vikings offer Sam Darnold, hey, we'll give you 45. The Raiders walk into there and say, we'll give you 52. Because we've seen the
Raiders are stupid.
I'm not paying.
Raiders would do that though. Here's the one thing I'll give Sam Darnold. I still think that some of his tendencies that he had back in the day are still prevalent. He still has a tendency to take sacks that he shouldn't take. When it comes to making decisions, he's been a lot better. But his third down, his ability to be successful on third downs this year has actually been severely impressive. And I think because of his arm strength, they can pretty much open the playbook up completely, and because he can make all the throws. So I do think it's a good fit. The question is you have a first-round quarterback waiting in the wings, and that is the biggest problem with this entire thing. If they didn't have that, I would guarantee you they signed him.
Riddell and Mike.
Also,
so y'all telling me y'all really not moved by Sam Darnold right
No,
now?
I am, but
to be noticeable though.
I am.
Riddell, you're not moved by Sam Darnold.
I'm not moved by Sam Darnold, like I'm not moved by Jared Goff, like I'm not moved by Russell Wilson. Same thing, man.
You think Jared Goff and Russ and Sam Darnold are on the same tier as Russell right now? You kidding me, right?
No,
Brandon,
no.
put this in
I don't
perspective.
think
just-
No,
You
no,
said-
no.
you
Shift
said
out.
he
No,
doesn't-
let's not get
Russ
crazy.
Jettis-
They keep in
If you have
JJ.
Russ
Now you can
Jettis
just
and Jordan
warm them up.
Addison, so they-
Riddell,
I-
Riddell,
same-
Riddell,
same
Riddell.
on numbers.
Through a 16-game season, he is 35-12. I think like 107 passer
He's
rating.
played well.
He's
played well
66% of his passes, 4,000 yards. That's not moving you? That's not moving you
No.
at all?
He's
No.
played well.
You always
played
have
well.
to. You have to. That's fine. Okay, cool. You played well. What does it mean when it comes to the playoffs? I mean, that's when it matters most. And the thing about
Oh boy.
the Vikings in particular, people who really should move people are the quarterbacks when you know I'm paying this guy and I'm fine with it. Let's not pretend that we think I'm paying Sam Darnold and we're all just going to be fine with it, especially with this Minnesota Vikings team right now, who is a complete roster from top to bottom with elite coaching right now. So
And players. Bro, they have Jettis and Jordan Addison on the outside.
TJ
Hawkins
F
is a
that.
top-
F that.
Hawkins
I'll
is
tell
a
you
top
right now.
5 tight end.
Brandon was
telling
just
you,
talking about Raiders giving him 52 mil. He's going over there with nothing. You
F
think
that,
he's going
F
to
that,
put up the
F
same
that.
amount of numbers?
He's
Having
never
all
made-
those
he's never
weapons
made
is
that kind of
cool,
money though.
But there are
F-Dot.
some guys in this. There are a lot of quarterbacks in this league that you put them in Sam Darnold's spot. They're not playing as well as him.
Like Kyler's not.
No.
What?
Tyler would fuck this up.
Y'all
Bad.
crazy.
Kyler's
Y'all
not.
are crazy.
I'm sure he
Y'all
Kyler's
would.
are
not.
crazy. Y'all are
I'm
crazy.
sure he would.
y'all are
What?
crazy.
Y'all are
Kyler's
crazy
not.
if y'all think Colin not doing the same thing Sam
No,
Darnold
he
doing.
ain't.
Y'all are crazy.
He does not
Y'all are
have that
crazy.
type of arm talent as
Y'all
Sam
insane.
Darnold.
Y'all
He
are
doesn't.
insane.
Y'all are
crazy.
crazy.
Wait,
Y'all
so
are
B,
crazy.
wait, hold on, F-Dot. So B, is Brock Purdy doing the same thing?
On his Vikings team?
Yes.
I don't think he's
Yes.
playing as well as Sam Darnold is. I don't.
Yes, he is.
So he's not going to mess it up?
Yes.
Because Brock Purdy's got one of the worst arms in the league. Let's keep it a buck. One of the worst.
I just said he wouldn't play as well as Sam Darnold if you swap him.
But I'm saying that the playbook that they have right now, the passes that they are running or the routes that they're running, they would not be able to do with Brock Purdy. They would not. The deep ball passing that they're doing, the tight window
Mike, what are we
throws,
doing? I just said I'd
it's
agree with
not
you.
working.
Yeah, I was just waiting to see how that plays
No,
out.
but I'm saying like no, B. I'm sorry. I'm saying when you say
Oh,
Kyler
boy.
would mess it up badly, you don't think
Dude,
that Brock
he
would mess
has
it
the
up
arm talent, but his decision making and reading the field is
I don't think it would be the
below
same,
average.
no.
It is.
Oh, Also,
But they would change the offense, and I think that they'd be successful still though. I don't
Yeah,
think
that's
Brock
not-
Purdy's
Michael,
gonna-
Michael, the
He's
reason
more mobile than Sam
F
Darnold.
dot. The only
And he
reason I-
plays on timing way.
No, F dot.
way
The only reason I'm fighting against that, and we also got a super chat, is that we have heard from insiders that Kyler does not put in the work. He's not in there spending
You can
extra time
see
on
it,
throws.
dude. You can
He's not
see
putting
it.
in the
He
extra
can't
work
read defenses
that other
He
people
can't.
are.
He's late on throws. You see it.
So
There's
that's
no way.
that's another reason why. Like,
This
look,
is-
you can
this
say
is
whatever you want
wild.
about this. Was Sam Darnold's chance to show that he could be a star in the league again, and he grabbed it, and he's
I don't
never
know.
he's
I don't-
not let
I
go
don't
of it.
know.
He's put
I
in
don't
the
know.
extra work. Kyler's not. Sure, it was funny when the Cardinals put that, hey, if you're playing COD, like clause in your contract. Sure, it was funny, but that also told you that they've seen him around the building not put in the amount of work that a starting quarterback needs to put in to be successful.
Y'all are
And
honestly
they-
telling
and they-
me.
and they
Y'all
know
are
that.
honestly. Y'all
All
are
I'm
honestly
saying,
telling
I
me
see
you don't
what
see
Kyler
him.
did with
You don't
Shout
see
out
him being
context,
late.
by
Imagine
the
you
way.
had Jettis and Jordan Addison with Aaron Jones as your running back.
F that.
and
Stop
one of the
that,
best
man. He
defenses
came in the league.
Okay,
He came in the league.
okay,
He
I
ain't help.
understand.
Stop acting like he ain't had no help, bro.
Okay,
Stop that.
we
Why
understand that the Cardinals are not the Vikings, but the Cardinals are not the Panthers either. The Cardinals have good weapons around them.
Kyler's had weapons, dude. He's had weapons.
All right,
We're gonna argue he
When he
has.
did have elite weapons, he played great. When he had D-Hop, he played great. When
And then what
let
happened
him
that
Played
second half of that
okay.
season?
He didn't play great.
They let him.
He
They
didn't
let
play
him
like
go.
Sam
Yeah,
Darnold
yeah,
is right now.
yeah,
Played okay,
yeah.
Never.
Yeah,
All right,
Never.
hold
That's
on.
not-
Let me read this super chat and then we can continue. Context exclusive, another $5. Appreciate you, my boy. How do y'all feel about
Yeah, shout out
everyone saying
context.
that Dan Campbell should have sat out his starters versus the 49ers because the game meant nothing?
That's a unique situation, Riddell. I've
Yeah,
never
it is.
seen a game before, a game 17 game mean nothing, but then the game 18 game means something.
Yeah, how does that make sense?
Like
I don't know.
because they're saying even if the Lions lost that game, if they beat the Vikings, they still win the division, and they have the tiebreaker over the Eagles, so they would still be the number one seed. So that's why that game.
if they
So even if they lose next week, they
So
still.
so let's just say that so they would be 12-3 going to this game. They've already beat the Vikings once early in the season. They beat the Vikings again to finish the season.
Don't they have
both
the same record? Hold on.
Yeah. So they both have the same
That's
record.
why this game matters and the 49ers game doesn't.
Yeah, so basically it doesn't matter because they beat the Vikings this week. They would both be 12-3, right? And they would both
I understand
have,
that. Yeah.
and then the Lions would have the tiebreaker over the Vikings and the Eagles. The Vikings because they beat them twice and they won the division, and also the Eagles over something else. But
Yeah.
Dan Campbell, they've always been aggressive.
Damn, they
That's
are
who Dan Campbell is. He's an aggressive dude. They play aggressive, and they have so many. They have so like Shifcon said, they got 22 dudes on IR. They have so many. Like they just want to play. They're aggressive. So many people on IR. Plus, let's not forget last year because this mattered. They lost to the 49ers in the AFC Championship game last year. That mattered to them. The same way Dan Campbell blew out the Cowboys, and you would have thought Dan Campbell, like Jerry Jones, did something to Dan Campbell personally. Like it mattered to them. So if that's what they did, nobody got hurt. And they showed out. They found a way to win the game, which the only way, ironically, now that they can win is by winning shootouts. But they keep finding ways to win. And they stayed aggressive. They stayed true.
I think that's a nitpicking thing. I don't think that they should have benched their players for that, because the reality is like when you have a bye sometimes or you take a week off, you're not going to be the same the next week. And since that this game means something, I'd rather see them go for what's it called? I'd rather see them go for this game and try to win it and have their players playing than just sit out a week and then come back against a really, really good football team that, when it comes to the personnel at this point, is way more healthy. I would rather see them, because you're going to need Jared Goff to be on his best like he has. If you give him a week off, there's no telling how acclimated he's going to be. I understand it's only a week, but yeah, I just don't see it. It's also really unprecedented. Like, that's a thing that's really never happened. Like, sit somebody 2 weeks out. I don't think I've ever seen that happen. So
I've never seen a situation where the game before the last game doesn't matter when it comes to the 1 seed.
It's definitely a unique situation, but I mean, it's as simple as I wanted to beat that team, so I'm gonna win the game. Like, some people sometimes I hear, and I'm not saying this is you context. The people, I feel like people just like, do you guys have never played sports at all? Do you guys not have that competitive
spirit?
I'm worrying you about the Eagles right now, Riddell.
You lost to him in the NFC Championship last year. Of course, you want to go in there.
I want to prove we are better than you. And I mean, the Eagles and the Giants situation. I guess we'll talk about it.
Pisses me
the
off.
Eagles are sitting everybody basically.
I'm not a fan of that, by the way. I know me and you had. I'm not a fan of that at all. Just go for it. I still think.
101 yards. Just at least give him a half. Give him a half.
Yeah, I would still think the AP
is better,
but you have a chance in history, bro. One of the biggest unbeatable records.
It's not even like an excuse. It's just like if he gets injured, everybody gonna be like, "Oh, Saquon should never."
What happens if he gets injured in the first half of the playoff game?
Yo,
like football, it happens. This is football.
You're Saquon. The Giants drafted you. You're supposed to be like the head of their franchise. You're their face.
For sure.
They basically insult you with how much money they're throwing at you after they just gave Daniel Jones $40 million. You go to the Eagles. You ball out.
Right.
You have the chance to finally break the 40-year-old record. 40-year-old record. You're 101 yards away. Well, last time they played the Giants, didn't he drop like? Didn't he go break?
He cooked us.
Yeah. 101 yards. Dexter Lawrence isn't even there this time.
Yeah. No, this would be easily. He would break it easily. But it's just like I'm not mad at the decision. Obviously, we want him to break it, but it's just like I don't like how people are mad at them making that decision though.
It's just a 40-year record.
It's one of the biggest records that the NFL has.
No,
like your name, if you break a record like this, will be etched in history. And it's not just like something that people say. Like legitimately, who knows who's number 2 in rushing yards all time? Nobody knows. Everybody just knows Eric Dickerson's number 1
for the season. Random. Who's second all time in a season?
It's AP because he was 9 yards behind. It's Aiden.
He only randomly. I'm talking about the average casual audience.
No, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so like
No, he should be out there for sure. He should be out there, but I'm not mad that he's not. I'm not gonna be mad.
Yeah,
that
I understand it.
'Cause guess
I
what? If they don't
understand
win the
it.
Super Bowl, then
it's a waste. Yeah,
now
No,
you gotta win.
But this is the thing though. Let's say Saquon gets nicked up, and it's a type of injury where it's not really serious, so no one really knows. Now, let's say he's not running the same way, and they get blown out in the first round or something like that. All I'm saying is Nick Sirianni. No, I'm saying Nick Sirianni's coaching for his job,
yeah.
and
That's what
he is not putting that record on the line for his job, because if they don't make the NFC Championship game
done.
and put up a good performance, he's out.
He's
He's
of there.
out.
He's
Like,
out.
and yes, Howie Roseman's a great GM. Their organization's good. I've seen Philly make decisions because the fan base wants a player gone or they want a coach gone. We've seen it with Andy Reid. I just think I understand it from both sides. Don't get me wrong. I understand the argument of give him the record. I do. But I do understand Nick Sirianni's side. It's a decision that I don't have the answer to. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, me either. It's hard for me.
And who knows? Saquon maybe said Saquon. Maybe
Saquon.
Saquon said he doesn't care about it. I mean, I we don't know,
Well,
but
he's given up opportunities. He said a lot of second halves where this record could.
but he's
possibly could have
also
been taken care of.
breaking. He's
Facts.
like, I remember the game. He sat down and said, "I'm fine." And then a couple of weeks later, he broke the record for the Philadelphia Eagles rushing yards in one game. Like he eventually broke it anyway. So definitely, Saquon's unselfish. But I feel like even Saquon knows that I could be like, hey, people say this all the time, but this is like one of those examples where it works. He can be immortal. His name we etched in history forever.
Facts.
Who was the running back that Early was saying was better than him?
oh, here we go.
I don't know. He said a lot of people.
I think he played. For
Pierre Thomas.
yeah. Like, I'm sorry, this will
Like,
put it to bed. This
what I'm
might put
talking
it to
about,
bed.
Like the
What?
early 2000s.
No, not
guys
Pierre
from
Thomas.
early-
Not Pierre Thomas. Priest Holmes.
Priest Holmes, yeah.
yeah.
Priest Holmes.
Like,
That's
come
what it
on,
was.
dog.
Priest
Like,
Priest
we're
Holmes.
Holmes had. Let me stop before I. No.
That was a good convo, actually. I'm glad.
It was a good convo, but I'm just saying, if he broke the record, then it's like,
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. He will be in those top combos.
It's man. Maybe he breaks it next year. You know, you never know. Saquon was pretty healthy all year too, so I think he might
He missed
have
one, right?
one game. I might have missed one game, but I'm not sure.
He did some 16 games. I'm not gonna lie. It's crazy.
So I mean, we'll see. He'll win Offensive Player of the Year, of course.
oh, and real quick before we move on to the next topic, I just want to cover this quickly. I don't care what the Cowboys said. They slimy as hell. I don't care that they said this for that they want to give Zeke an opportunity to play for a playoff team. He has 200 yards on the season and 3 touchdowns. What playoff team?
What are you talking about?
What playoff team?
Okay, there's teams that need the depth, like the Chargers need the depth.
Nah,
I think
we good. We good. We
They got Gus. They got Gus.
We-
They got Gus.
Gus Edwards is out. I'm
Oh,
pretty
for real?
sure.
But then remember, they also
slide the
drafted a
rookie.
running back. They also
Slide
drafted
the
a running
rookie.
back.
Slide the rookie, and we're fine.
So
No,
they have
you still-
they have
you still-
Dobbins
you
and a
still
running back.
You still want that depth just in case that's because you have to rely on J.K. Dobbins staying healthy all playoffs if they make it.
That probably won't.
And so you want Zeke, who had 200 yards on the season?
Why not? If there's somebody, why not? Because Zeke also was getting Rico Dotto was a guy.
Okay.
The Commanders, Austin Eckler, I think is injured, right? You know what I'm saying?
Cool with the Commanders. Man.
I'm just saying that if he does sign for a team, fair play. Fair play.
If a team doesn't sign him, then Cowboys, you ain't
Look,
shit.
I'm not gonna trust anything the Cowboys say. I'm also believe that Zeke would do that because Zeke has always been a guy that is a little bit delusional, especially once he came out of his prime and wasn't that good. But I will say this: watching Zeke play, you cannot argue to me any other running back in Dallas history besides Emmitt Smith in their prime was better than Zeke. DeMarco Murray wasn't better. Tony Dorsett wasn't better. There is nobody. That dude was an absolute animal for, I would say, 4 years, and he carried that offense.
Respect Tony Dorsett, in my opinion, but
Prime.
Tony, no. It's respect to Tony Dorsett, but Zeke is better. Zeke is better.
he's only a Hall of Famer. But you got it, fam. You're the Cowboys fan.
Hey, valid.
Zeke would be a Hall of Famer if it wasn't for the fact that we gave him 380 carries for 4 years in a row. But
You got a bag because of it.
Ran him to the dirt, unfortunately.
I guess it worked out.
They run him into the dirt. It's crazy.
So when it comes down to some of the other spots, who do we think are going to be the last playoff spots? Buccaneers, Falcons, and Bengals, Broncos.
I got a question.
Dolphins.
So if the Bucks they lose next week and the Falcons win, the Falcons would be in.
Mhm.
Okay.
I believe so. Yeah.
And with
Yeah,
the
they
Bucks,
have the tiebreaker.
If I'm whoever the number one seed is, I don't want to see the Bucks. I think the Bucks could beat. The Bucks are good enough to beat anybody.
you think they beat Eagles
I think they could.
in Philly?
I think they could. One thing a lot of people Baker, I understand that his stats may not show it. Baker Mayfield has been incredible this year.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
been amazing, despite the fact that he suffered from injuries. Obviously, losing Chris Godwin early. Mike Evans was out for a bit. He's just balling. He's been playing very well. I believe he leads the league in touchdown passes right now, too. I think that Bucks team could walk into because remember they had a lot of in the middle. Remember when they went on that like 4-game losing streak? Every single one of those losses was close. We're talking like 4, like by a touchdown. This is a very good team that knows what they are, that understands, and then they find a way to make plays, man. Like if I'm Philly, give me the Falcons. I'll blow them out, and let's keep it moving. I don't want to get in a dogfight with the Bucks at 425, and Baker's just finding a way to make plays.
Yeah. But schedule with the Bucks is that defense, though. I'm not gonna lie. That secondary is just.
Plus, Buck Irvin, the best running back on that roster. Shout out to Rashad White. Way to give that spot up.
Bro, Ben knew that since week 1, bro. Not gonna lie.
Bucky's killing.
He's amazing.
He should have been starting right from
good-
Bucky
Rashad White had a
was
good
my
year
guy.
last year.
Hey,
He
I'll
did
say
video.
But we all, I mean, I won't say we. Like I said, he was a toned down Austin Eckler, bro.
hey, Bucky.
He said it.
That's
Hey, that's crazy. But I'll
You
say
don't just get a
Bucky.
rookie, like so you don't just get a K and then like you draft a rookie and like, oh yeah, now you're a second running back. Like that doesn't happen.
Yeah, you got playing.
Yeah, but then you go like, hey man, I'm watching these two play. One guy's just better than the other guy.
That's
just
why they've
tough.
been doing it recently. Shoot, they feeding them now.
Yeah, it's like we learned a little bit late, but we got here. It's Bucky.
Hey, Bucky was one of my biggest sleepers in the draft because I got a chance to watch him play a lot. But no, did I think he'd be this good this fast? Absolutely not. Not this good. Not this good this fast. It's been really incredible for him. I'm really happy for him too because he's a stud. Shout out him.
I don't know. if
Going to the Bucks. Going to the Bucks. This is my only issue. I look at the teams. I think they could beat the Commanders for sure. For sure, they could beat the Commanders. When I look at the Vikings, and the Rams as well, I think, but either of those teams, I'm picking the Bucks to win, because I just have not been impressed with the Rams the last 2 weeks. Just have not. Their offense looks bad, and then or not bad. It's just they can't run the football. That's really my issue with them, and they can't play defense. But when I look at the Vikings, Eagles, or Lions, or even Packers, teams that have legit defenses, I don't see a way that they could beat them because their defense is so poor. Like, they have Vita Vea, fine, but their secondary is terrible.
Also, don't forget, the Bucks did beat the Eagles earlier this season.
For real.
Yeah, but that was the
They
worst
did.
version of the
Yeah,
Eagles.
worst version. Yeah, come on. No,
They did.
Saquon.
I'll give them that,
Yeah,
but like
No,
the
AJ.
Eagles are weird because it's about how Jalen Hurts plays. Like, love Saquon. You could make arguably he's the best offensive player in the league, but if your quarterback play is inconsistent, then it's hard to win in the playoffs. But I still think that Jalen Hurts will be good enough to beat a team like the Bucks because at the end of the day, who is playing defense on AJ Brown and Devontae Smith for them? Like, they just
Thank
don't
God.
have anybody. They're gonna have to sit back in zone all game long if they were gonna want to beat them. I mean, I saw them try to put CD on an island with Zion McCollum, and it went horribly. So if they try to do that, I mean, they can't win that game. But I do think fully healthy Bucks with Godwin would be more of a shot. It's just because I love Baker,
The Lions, they got good wins, man.
but
The
But they have bad losses too.
But
That's the thing with the
you can
Bucks.
make an argument that they peaked early in the season.
They
Like,
did.
I don't think that they're playing their best football now, and also
I would disagree.
Baker's been good, but I still think he's still a hot and cold guy. I think this is the year where he's really, really gotten it together. But there is some situations where he misses throws over the middle. And if he does that in one of these games against good teams, I mean, it's going to be really tough to beat them. But I don't know.
I would
it's gonna be
disagree.
interesting.
Like I'm looking at their schedule right now. They've won 4 of their last 5. I understand they beat the Panthers twice, but the Panthers were playing very good especially going to last game. They also blew out the Chargers. The Chargers, I've always said the Chargers are a year away from being a very good team, but they're a good team.
The Chargers was probably their best performance.
They
the last
blew
5
them.
weeks.
They blew them boys out. Like I'm still shocked by that,
That's a good
especially
game.
with how great Jim Harbaugh is as a coach. But like they're playing. I think they're playing the best football right now. They're blowing out the teams they need to blow out. They're winning early, and every single loss from their 4-game losing streak, losing by 10 to the Ravens, then they lost by 5 to the Falcons, then they lost by 6 to the Chiefs, then 3 to the 49ers.
That 10 of the Ravens is a low.
Yeah, every single one of those teams is better. Every single one of those teams, except for 49ers, I believe, is better than them. And it wasn't like they were like those were dog fights. Let's not forget. So they get away from that 4-game losing streak. They win their last 5. They're playing. They're. I think they're playing their best football right now. Obviously, the culmination with last week, just like Panthers. I know y'all been playing well. Y'all got a couple wins. Come over here. Let's just spank your asses and get the hell out. Like get out of here. I
agree. That Panthers game was great from them, but I think the first Panthers game that they played them was not that good of a performance from them. I think they almost lost that game, if I'm not mistaken. They
won 26-23. I believe it was in overtime.
So, yeah, I think if they play their best football, they can beat a lot of these teams, even the teams that I mentioned that I don't expect them to beat. But it's just the defense. Like the offense, I still think can do decent, but I just don't trust the defense. Like to me, the biggest, besides quarterback play, the biggest 2 things in the playoffs: can you run the ball on short yardage situations, and can you play defense? And I think that they could run the ball for sure. There's no question about that. But their defense is just, their secondary is just so bad. It's like, I don't know. But yeah,
I mean, that's it. I think the Bucs, they're just that team. I don't think any team wants to face for real. Like for they're like for instance in the AFC. I don't want to play the Bengals.
Yeah, the Bengals.
I don't. No. I understand their defense is also trash, but Joe Burrow. If Joe Burrow had a better record, I believe he would be the MVP. But he's lost too many times to be the MVP.
Yeah,
facts.
He would definitely be MVP.
Yeah. Also, Marley, you can say that, but like, look, we did watch them lose on Sunday night, but they're still playing way better football. Marley, the last person you lost to until the game Jalen Hurts got hurt in was the Bucs. Like, I'm sorry, but they just found way. They just find ways to at least make every game close, and they have a chance. Like, I don't know how. Just look at how their seasons went. I don't think they've. I'm looking at their schedule right now, trying to see. Other than the loss to the Broncos, where they were dominating that game, every single one of their losses has been by a touchdown.
I'm not gonna lie though, that Ravens game was definitely, they was blowing them out until like 5 minutes left in the fourth, and they got like some last minute scores. They got that little muff punt or kick. That was a little. That game was, I ain't gonna lie, Baker was not looking good that game until literally fourth quarter, 5 minutes left in that game. Not gonna lie.
Say something that they were able to climb all the way back. You
that is true though.
Like that, and then you find a way to.
He ain't go out like a he ain't go out.
It's just a team that, like, if you come out and you think, I'm the 1 seed, I just want to chill.
They'll punch you in the mouth.
Yeah, they'll punch you in the mouth.
They could beat you. That's
true. That's true. You can't sleep on them. You can't sleep on them.
Sadly, random. The Cowboys aren't in the playoffs, so no, I'm kidding. I'm playing. We all know that would happen if they were. So,
yeah, I mean, I think the Bucs are going to make it for the NFC pretty comfortably. They play the Saints week 18, and the Saints have basically given up for the rest of the year. Yeah. And the Broncos are going to make it. I mean, the Chiefs are playing backups. The Broncos are going to play all their starters, going to ensure for 100% certainty they win so they can go to the playoffs. So, yeah, I'm expecting Buccaneers, Broncos for the last 2 spots. And it should be pretty interesting overall to see how everything goes for the playoff picture. But I think that those are probably the most obvious ones as of right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is going to be a good playoff. This is going to be real. interesting. Narrative's going to change after this one right here. It's a big-
Yeah. It was interesting. Like before we started, I'll save that for later. We'll do our playoff predictions after week 18, so then we'll know for officially what the order for the playoff picture will be. Right? We got the only thing we know for a fact is like the Eagles got number 2, the Chiefs got number 1, and
Bills got 2.
Yeah, so not much to really talk about regarding that. But it seems like the year is pretty much over at this point. We also wait for the final year to do award predictions, but a lot of takes were made. I think Early wanted to talk about the best takes of the year, like who really knew ball come throughout this entire year. I don't know what takes he was going to pull out. One I'll give credit for. Let me actually fact check this. Is I think Brandon said Will Levis is going to throw more interceptions than touchdowns.
Yeah, he was. On
I think
that
he
Will
did
Levis
say that.
train.
I'm
Like,
pretty sure I
weekly.
remember him saying that.
So right
Yeah.
now, Will Levis threw 12 touchdowns and 12 interceptions.
Wow.
A 1-to-1 touchdown interception ratio.
Wow.
Hey, I'll say shout out.
Shout out, Brandon.
I'll give Brandon that. You know what I'm saying?
12 and 12 is crazy.
That's disgusting. God, that's disgusting.
20 and like 21 would be like, okay, I mean,
That
that's
is-
20, but
If he put
I
like a
don't even know
James
if someone's-
Winston, like 30 and 30. Okay.
Yeah, he was.
I don't know if I said this. I tried to warn y'all about the Jets. I really did.
Yeah. I was never really on the Jets like that.
I
either.
tried
don't know why.
to warn people.
hyped up
Even the one cat who said, "Oh, we got Devontae Adams."
You didn't think they were going to be this
winning
bad after
or
that, though.
super.
Yeah, I
don't
didn't
think anybody
bad,
thought
but
they would
I
be
didn't
this
think,
bad.
bro. I didn't think they were going to.
I mean,
Super Bowl.
I thought they weren't going to make the playoffs. So
Like, I just didn't. Yeah.
all
But I
I
didn't
knew
think
was
they were
the
gonna
Bills
be-
would win the division. I won't talk about anything else I said. Did Early?
Q. Let me tell you, if we're talking takes, every single person who made a bet with me lost. So Early owes me.
In my
some
defense,
What's up?
it's not Garrett Wilson's fault.
No, it's not.
I'll give you this.
It's not his fault.
But that narrative is getting like I can see why Riddell's tired with that narrative because it's been like that literally his whole career. But I agree,
It's not though, bro. It really is not his fault.
It's not his fault.
It's crazy.
I think there's certain details that obviously Garrett Wilson needs to continue to improve on. But I will say this: watching this season, I made the bet for the Garrett Wilson bet. I made this with 2 people. If he got more than 1,300 receiving yards, I would pay Lonnie. If he got less than 1,300 receiving yards, Lonnie would pay me. And I made an extra bet with Manny. If he got below 1,100 receiving yards, it will get doubled. And now Manny owes me double because he got he's more than likely getting less than 1,100.
Bro.
I mean, he's close though. He's at like 1,050.
Wait, Early had the
No,
Raiders
he's over.
win the
He's
AFC
over it.
West.
He's 1,140.
Yes. Early. Well, also Hefe did too. Well,
Oh,
Hefe
Garrett
said
hit
they're gonna
11.
Y'all had the Raiders winning
No,
that.
not Garrett Wilson.
He has
Malik Neighbors.
1,053.
Oh, I was about to say.
Boys,
Last time I checked, Garrett had like 9 something.
No, he has a K right now. He's over a K.
Okay,
So
so
if he has a
Garrett
good
is
game,
running
if he has a good
Michigan.
game, he can get it.
we'll see if the Jets will really care about that final game.
Hey, shout out UQ for remembering that. I don't know if you went back and watched that or something, but shout out to you for remembering that because I will.
yeah.
I
How did y'all
remember
not kill him for that?
Oh no,
It's
no,
like,
we
tried to kill him, but
let
it's,
me give out the full.
doesn't help when Mo and
thing on
Hefe were agreeing with
what
them.
Early owes me. So Early made a bet with me that the Raiders are going to win the division over
That's
the
true.
Chiefs.
That was so
Don't-
asinine.
Don't know
That
why
was
he
the
did it,
dumbest
but he
thing.
Why
did.
would he do
Because he liked Gardner Minshew. He tried to tell us that Gardner Minshew was going to be serviceable enough.
No, also, don't forget, he's like, I'm not like the rest of y'all who pick safe bets. I want to switch it up. What part of what the Raiders did means they're
What
going to
makes-
win 10 games and the
Yeah.
Chiefs? I was like, look, I'm not the biggest Chiefs guy here. Riddell can tell you, but even I'm like, don't insult the Chiefs like that.
Yeah, that's an
At
insult.
least pick
That's
the
a-
Chargers, bro. I would have picked the Chargers.
Nah, he
if I
just
was
hates the Chiefs
one
that
of them.
bad. That's fact shit, guy.
Yeah, he had the Raiders number 2 at the bare minimum, and they ended up last. I was like, bro, okay. And then the other bet he made with me was Malika Neighbors will not be top 5 in rookie receiving yards. Brandon also
That
tried to
was
take that bet,
insanity.
but I didn't hear Brandon. If I heard Brandon, I would have took his money too. So that was wrong. And then the worst one of all, because this is the most money.
I remember
ever
I was with
made.
you on that one. I
Yeah,
thought
it's
that
just
was-
wild.
That's
Malik
crazy.
Neighbors is just him.
Yeah, that's crazy, yeah.
Malik Neighbors getting 77 receptions, 1,000 receiving yards, and 6 receiving touchdowns. If he hits that.
I mean,
And he's already hit it, and then we didn't even have the last game of the season.
they should have known the
And
Giants
then-
was
and
going to
then
force
another-
feed Neighbors.
another-
Bro. Like, he's
Another
he's him.
He's
another
him, bro.
awful bet for not me, but for Mo. Shout out Mo, by the way. Mo told me that DJ Moore would get more yards than CeeDee Lamb, and CeeDee Lamb is not playing the last 2 games this season, and DJ Moore will not probably come close to that because I think CD has 1,100, and I don't even think DJ Moore has 900 right now.
Oh yeah. he's
So
done.
that
He's done.
one was, and I forgot about that one. So
He's
until
done.
Yeah,
Lonnie
CeeDee
brought it
Lamb.
back up.
Yeah, see, Lamb at 1,194.
Chat missed this one, but I have a bet with Hefe. Hefe thinks that Baker Mayfield is going to finish top 3 in MVP voting, and yeah, I think that's $100. I think that's $100. So
Oh, I called him out. Name me the last MVP that lost more than
More than
6
7
times or
games?
more.
Yeah.
because so just
Yeah.
MVP. I'm not gonna say the order, but whoever you have first, Josh Allen or Lamar is 1 and 2, and then people are gonna say Saquon or Joe Burrow for 3 and 4, and then there's also Sam Darnold. Are you taking Sam Darnold this year or Baker Mayfield
Yeah.
for MVP?
Okay.
I
voting?
think you have to go
I go
Sam.
Sam.
For MVP, it's Sam.
Yeah,
And
gotta
like
go-
remember MVP, like after a certain point, they just start naming who they think is who played the best. So you gotta throw in Jamar Chase, you gotta throw in Jared Goff, you gotta
right.
throw
And
in
like the only reason why Joe's going to be
Derrick
on
Henry.
the list at the back end, by the way, because of the losses, which I disagree with as well. The only reason is because he's having one of the best. He's having a incredible all-time
Incredible
season. If
season.
he was having the 4,500, 36 in 10 years that he had previously, he probably wouldn't get on the list. Actually, he definitely wouldn't get on the list.
Yeah.
Well, let's go around the
not
room.
top 3.
Oh, for sure. Baker is definitely not going to be top.
Yeah.
Well, let's go around the room and,
Easy money
go
for you.
and
That's
basically
nice.
say what our own individual, not best take, because it's really hard to really measure that, but favorite take you individually made for this.
Oh, I know what
coming
mine is.
season. And hopefully, like, if you're going to say something crazy, you better have at least a receipt. I'm just saying, like, people be saying stuff. So, favorite individual take of this year for everybody individually. We'll start off with Michael since he already has it.
Yeah, this is gonna sound crazy, but I said that Dallas would not make the playoffs this year, and they didn't. So that's mine.
He did say that. He did say that. Okay. Hey, man.
And I would say Bills handling the division, but I think there was a lot of people with me on that one, or at least I think Riddell was and B was. So I'll take that one because I'm pretty sure it's the only one to say that. So yeah, but yeah, that's it.
No, I was with you with the Cowboys one, but you, for being a Cowboys fan and saying that about your team, 100% respect.
Yeah, no, that was dope.
That is kind of crazy.
That's the only thing that gave me solace about this year.
God damn. So you were soulless from the start. God. Jeez.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, they were saying that I have no backbone. Hefe was
Even
saying I have
without
no
Dak,
backbone.
even without seeing the Dak injury, you was still off on him. Like,
Yep, because of Mike.
Hey, man. F dot.
I'll probably go Steelers or fries. I mean, come on, like I've been seen it coming. I've seen it all coming. 9-3. I'm like, they're fries. I see it. I see through the BS. I'll go with that for sure.
Okay, respect. Lonnie, what you got?
I mean, there are a few that I think I made, but I think the one that just sticks out to me because I just remember I said it and I was getting laughed and yelled at that JSN was like, I think I said he was like top 20, top 25 or whatever. And all I heard was, oh, his numbers last year. And then I literally tried showing y'all the route trees compared to because the offensive coordinator for the Seahawks last year is now the Bears offensive coordinator, and we saw how bad it was. And I was like, oh, look how bad these routes are, and now he can finally unleash, and he's gonna be top 20. Oh, you guys want to give Guys, credit too early. Now, yeah, who you want right now? DK or JSN? Who you want?
Oh no, I've been JSN number one receiver for a while. So
Look, the only thing I'm gonna say against that was DK was balling until he got hurt.
Oh, he was.
He was.
it
dang
was.
good.
Then they figured out.
Okay,
Actually, our best receiver is JSN.
Well, shout out DK, still a good receiver, but that boy does not know how to sell a route. Like oh my gosh.
Nobody ever said DK was a great route runner.
No,
Nobody ever
I
said
know. It's just when I watch the tape, it's like, oh my god. But shout out to DK. He still is a good receiver. Like
Top 20 receiver.
he still has his role.
Yeah. Potentially, we'll probably could do a huge list with receivers. That would be interesting. Random.
Mine was simple, man. My Jets take was marinating, like I just pulled up to the game early with the tailgate and the smoker, and right when y'all pulled up to when the tailgate happens, the meat, the food's ready every single week, and just watching them, like Lonnie, when you sent me the thing about how it turns out that maybe Woody Johnson's grandson is the one low-key making decisions. Oh, I'm not going to trade for Jared Judy because he's an 84 in Madden. Shut your ass up. Who makes decisions
so
like
stupid,
that?
bro.
No, I've never seen So you finish.
And it was just like, obviously, me calling out Aaron Rodgers for the season. Hey, bro, you not all in. You keep saying you are, but you're not. And guess what? It played out. Now, bro going out looking like Dan Marino. Fellas, he had the second worst QBR of all time last week, a 1.2. Davis Mills in 2021 had the worst of all time. He was trash, and to the point where no, Raiders, don't even bring him in for a minimum. Retire, because you're not willing to put in the work. You're not willing to put in the work. Say whatever you want about Russ with the Broncos, but at least Russ put in the work. Now he's blaming COVID again. He's doing all these things, saying, "Oh, now he's sneak dissing Garrett Wilson,
psyops and shit."
Yeah, he's doing all this stuff, sneak dissing Garrett Wilson, all this stuff. Don't be trying to do LeBron stuff if you're not going to perform like LeBron. That's why LeBron stuff works, because he's still great. You're trash. Drake May was better than you. He was better than you this year. And he's a
Drake
rookie.
May's nice. Drake May's is legit. Drake May's gonna be a guy. I'll stand on the table.
Every time the Jets stepped on the field, I'm like, oh yeah, this is easy money.
Nah, you got it.
I should have bet. I should have bet on the Jets. I should have bet against the Jets every week.
As Trent would say, you got it.
No,
but I will say I've never seen as many people come out against their organization that they're in than this Jets team. It is unprecedented.
It shows you how, because obviously your quarterback is a big part of your culture, and I'm not trying to blame. No, this is not just an Aaron Rodgers. This is a Jets problem. But Aaron, you thought you could be what you are at the end of your Packers run, where you could start throwing your weight around, not put in the work, sneak this other people, do all this and that, get your coach fired, keep your best friend the terrorist as your offensive coordinator. But he was so bad, even the Jets said, we don't want you in the playmaking part of the offense anymore. Mm-hmm. We don't want you there. Robert Saleh looks amazing right now. Looks amazing.
Wait, where's he at?
Last time I heard, he was working. I believe
he's like a consultant. I think on the Packers or something.
He's around the Packers. He has some history, I think, with LaFleur. I think so.
Yes, they both worked with Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, okay, valid. No, that was a good one. Really knowing the downfall of the Jets. Like, a lot of people were hyped on the Jets. Even I said that they weren't going to make the playoffs, but random was the lowest on the Jets. And I respect it.
Riddell, the most important one. Are we finally going to respect Drake London?
Yeah, we find people finally on time with that dog Drake mother effing London. And I think low-key, even though I like Kirk, because of the lack of the deep ball, and I do think it's probably due to the injury, Drake wasn't optimized because he is one of the best contested catchers in football, but they weren't doing a lot of deep shots. Michael Penix is going to throw the ball deep to Drake. So my best take of the year, I'll probably stick to like things at home so I don't kind of, going on the list, man, right. So things that are at home, obviously the Chiefs being great. potentially three-peating, always on that timing. Malik Neighbors being a dog, Jesus Christ. When I saw his college tape, I was like, yeah, he's my favorite receiver out of this entire draft class. And I'm so glad we got him. But the one that I'm going to claim, because it's very simple, Saquon Barkley just being him, bro. Saquon Barkley being him, offensive player of the year. I was saying consistently in the beginning of the season, he's the best running back in football. And some people questioned it. People still had CMC over him. People had King Henry over him. People thought there were certain conversations like Bijan and Saquon. So I was like,
Even Brees Hall. I heard people had Brees Hall over.
Brees Hall was getting a lot of love to start the year.
I really do like Brees Hall. I will be honest, but I never
over Saquon.
Bijan did go crazy this year. He's
Bijan
not
top
Saquon,
three.
but Bijan did go
top
stupid.
three.
Bijan was
top
good,
three, but he
but
not better than
Saquon established that he is like one of the greatest talents we've ever seen this year with a good team. And yeah, that hit so home. He almost broke the record, man. Saquon.
We're talking about somebody that had 2,000 scrimmage yards in his rookie year, and people trying to tell me that he's overrated, that he's not the guy. Come on, bro. And as far as Derrick Henry versus Saquon conversations, to me, the way Saquon's able to break in and out of cuts, get into any hole that's open, even if it's not the design one, to me, that's more valuable than what Derrick Henry brings. And I'm not trying to say Derrick Henry isn't a great running back. He's most certainly the number 2 running back in the league in my mind. But what Saquon can do is just he outmatches anybody. Like Bijan is the only one that could rival him at peak because I can see that type of thing. But yeah, no, Saquon got
Derrick
it for me.
Henry's not what he used to be. He's definitely like he's still good, obviously, but like he's definitely like
No,
But
the
I
days
think
of
when people talk about Derrick Henry, they talk about like he's out there breaking 5 tackles. Like, yes, he's a thumper, but that I don't think that outweighs what Saquon does.
Yeah.
Because
No, the days
Saquon is
of
breaking
Derrick-
way more tackles. Derrick Henry is straight edge, and then he'll stiff arm any secondary guy that he sees, and he can still thump.
yeah.
But yeah,
The days of him being the top back in the league are done.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
and that's
done.
okay. He's still top 5. He's still great.
For
but
sure.
Like I think that's just it. He chose the right place to go, and I think they've tried to be very careful with his carries. But at this point, like we said, in the playoffs, go and give that boy at least 25 carries. Like
At least 25.
at least, and
He shouldn't get anything lower than that.
and just
Yeah,
see
he's
if he
still
can take
gonna
you as
dominate.
far as he can.
All right, let's do our worst individual take of the year. Well, we think our worst one, and I'll start it out. My worst take of the year. There's a lot of people I believed in. I think people may go like Kirk. I think Kirk was still just a weird situation, so I'm not gonna go Kirk. I still think Kirk is a good quarterback, and I think he showed it this season. And then obviously things started falling apart on the defense, on the kicker, and he was playing bad too, of course. But it was just dysfunctional. But the one I'm really giving it to, what the hell, Caleb Williams? I expected you to come out your rookie season and ball the hell out with the Bears. I expected the Bears to be a playoff team. The way they built this team around you with DJ, with Keenan, with Rome, they still got Cole Kmet. I didn't understand the DeAndre Swift signing, and I still don't. He had a pretty good season, but it was a waste of a signing. But you still have an elite defense. I get it. Shane Waldron sucks. But Caleb Williams also played just bad football sometimes. His accuracy was suspect this year, especially that deep throw accuracy. He kept on missing people, and he holds onto the ball way too long, too often. Like, this was supposed to be an upgrade from Justin Fields, and I can honestly say, compared to what Justin Fields done this year and what he did, they're very similar. They're very similar. So, thinking that Caleb Williams was going to be a guy right off rip, that was probably my worst take.
I mean, I think they should have just cleaned house. That's what they should have just done. And when they drafted, because remember, we had these arguments all off season. After I don't know if you were there, but I was like,
watching. I was tapped in.
yeah, I was like, if you're gonna draft Caleb, then clean the whole house.
oh yeah, you were.
Clean the whole
I
house.
remember. Yeah.
And I was just like, that's a lot to ask for a rookie. I understand he's supposed to be the best quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck or blah 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 this and that. but it was just a lot that I thought asking for a rookie. But even then, there were just times like when you saw him on the bench multiple times this season, just looking up, and he's like, I don't, whether his spirit's broken
Just
or something like
overwhelmed,
that.
bro.
And I was like, he doesn't have the right supporting, like coaching supporting staff that he needs to have.
The reason why I'm not like fully buying into that is one, if we're talking about the combination of like all these different factors, coaching staff, there is a guy who has a similar level in terms of coaching staff ability, and that's that boy in New England, Drake May. Because he ain't gonna tell me that coaching staff is anything crazy either, with worse weapons too. And
I still think that coaching staff gets dragged by Patriots fans, especially Bill Simmons. All I see Bill Simmons tweet is, "Oh, this coaching staff is unprepared and all this stuff." It's like, you guys don't have any talent. But no, I'm not saying that. It's definitely still bottom 10. It's a very inexperienced coaching staff.
Yeah, and
but
when it comes to the defensive coaching, I think Eberflus is a better defensive coach, and then offense, I mean, they're both like bottom 5, bottom 10. So it's like, and what Drake May was able to do compared to what Caleb Williams, I mean,
I think it's also expectation that we had for both. Like you said, a lot of people had Caleb Williams making the playoffs his rookie year, doing big things with the team that he had. And yet people were like, okay, Drake's comes in. They also, with Drake, I understand that it was just a waste, but they did try to ease him in. They started Jacoby Brissett. They were like, look, let's just see what we can do. This is going to be a lost year anyway, but they eventually, I think we learned that Drake had a little more juice in him than we thought. And Caleb didn't have as much juice as people thought he did. But also, I think, and I mean, if you're looking at, if the New England's going to fire Gerard Mayo,
I don't think they should.
If Mike Vrabel says he wants the job, hey, Gerard, it's been cool. But I'm
right.
I'm
If you can get someone like that.
And for all we know, all intents and purposes, Ben Johnson wants the Chicago job. He's very intrigued by it. That's what the reports have.
So does Pete
Carroll. Carroll, I've seen that too. Yeah.
No.
If Ben Johnson goes to Chicago, I don't know.
No, I think Ben Johnson should, but Pete Carroll.
I just think some coaches are past there. Some coaches are past, but he's too old for me.
Go ahead,
he's
chill
too
out.
Old.
You're gonna.
I'm fine with that. He is old.
He's a good coach, though.
Yeah,
He's a good
so
coach.
I think
don't
if
want
Ben Johnson goes there, you hopefully try to change the culture of Chicago, because that's what Jim Harbaugh's done. He walked into Los Angeles with the Chargers, and remember all those games you'd watch when you were growing up. The Chargers would just lose these games. They found ways to win them this year. So now
Jim Harbaugh is great, but at the same time, I think the biggest thing that doesn't help Caleb Williams' case is the fact there's 2 rookie quarterbacks that are going to playoffs on teams that nobody thought would make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think
I'll say this plays in a tougher division than both of them. Like the Vikings, the Lions, and the Packers all made the playoffs. Those are great teams.
The AFC West is really good this year.
NFC North is the best division in football.
I know, but I'm saying the AFC West, like, I'll give you, what was the Jaden NFC East?
Giants.
The NFC East are not a bad division either. Like, they're both still really good divisions.
Other than the Eagles, you could say the Eagles are the number 1 team out of both divisions, but then you pick the next 3 are Lions, Vikings,
Giants,
and Packers. Then
no, I think the NFC North is by far number 1. I'm just saying, like, it's not like they were on the AFC South, for example. Like, they were all on, like, really good divisions, because obviously the Eagles and the Chiefs are the 2 best teams in football, and then the Chargers are a really good team this year. The Cowboys had figured it out later on where they became a dangerous, especially with the elite defense behind Micah. And then obviously the Raiders and Giants suck. So I don't know.
No, I'm with you on that, but it just pisses me off so much that it's, we figured it out later. It's like, bro.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's for me. It was I said.
Oh wait,
Seattle.
hold on. Lonnie was about to say something.
My fault, Lonnie. My
I
fault.
was saying I agree with some of the stuff that we were saying about the Bears. I feel a little bit differently about it, and that's mainly because the Bears team was good enough for the playoffs, in my opinion, in totality. But Caleb Williams had one of the worst QB performances that we've seen from number 1 pick in a while, objectively.
Yeah.
He couldn't. He was like holding onto the ball way too long. He couldn't read the field well at times.
Inaccurate.
He really things that we expected him to do well, he just wasn't doing well. A lot of it was coaching. Like a lot of the play calling was bad. I'm glad that they got let go of whoever was play calling. But he objectively played under, even like my lowest standards of him at the beginning of the season. He played below that. Bonex played better.
JD did.
JD played way better. Drake's playing better. Like he just he dropped the ball. So do I still think the Bears should have made the playoffs or at least been in contention? Yeah. To me, like it is the O-line and Caleb are like probably number 1 and 2, and then like the coaching is like number 3 to me.
They should have had somebody who broke his tendencies from college. That's what they needed to have, and they didn't. Because you saw a lot of USC Caleb in there.
Yeah, you see
and like the one thing too is like that early brought up. I think it was the last Sunday show we did how good that USC offensive line was, and like that was something that I wasn't even thinking about. I mean, if you go just look at the highlights, the amount of time that those guys were on their blocks was kind of crazy. And yeah, there's too many times where Caleb Williams is just turning around in the pocket and when he shouldn't. And when you don't have good pocket presence, or you at least like can't stand in the pocket, then it takes away from your improvising abilities because you're not going to be able to get through the gaps that you need to get out of the pocket. So all that stuff, and also inaccuracies, like Drake May is just much more accurate, like much more accurate.
Yeah,
and
Jaden is. I mean,
well, Jaden obviously, but we're not.
But coming into the season, I don't think everybody had the idea that Jaden was more accurate.
Dude, I know Dan Orlovsky did, and I clowned Dan Orlovsky for that.
Honestly, the people who were legitimately saying that Jaden Daniels was the number 1 guy, I mean, there might be a legit argument. There might be a legit conversation that needs to be had. Sometimes we let hype control our decisions a little too much.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if Jaden Daniels is just this guy moving forward and Caleb is this guy moving forward, then the analysis of Jaden was just objectively right.
Yeah. And I can't automatically go with that only because if you look at the tape, you kind of have to, but I can't because I was so impressed with CJ Stroud's tape and the decisions that he was making and the footwork that he was making. And then you look at what Bryce Young did last year and it just was so bad. And then now the past 5 weeks, you could like, they're much closer. So that's the only thing. I need to see another year now. I'm done with hyping up guys. I'll put Jaden Daniels top 12, but that's as far as I'll go.
Well, I want to see Jaden next year once teams have had a full off season to study him, see what he does, and see how he moves, because that's what a lot of teams did this year with CJ Stroud. You know, they had a lot of like a lot of people. I think a lot of us were very high on what the Texans could be. You know, they got the talent, they had a good coaching staff, but you know, I think a lot of people just whatever that rookie wall that he didn't hit last year, like finally hit him this year. If that makes any sense.
I think
but it's not like that team has a lot of like problems.
But they're also a very young team too. You know, sure they had veterans in the right places. I mean, I understand Stephon. We weren't saying Stephon Diggs was as high as we were anymore, but him getting hurt, it turns out that it did matter, especially when Tank Dell. It's just so unfortunate with his injuries, man. So unfortunate.
He's a small guy. You got to take into account he might get injured every year.
Yeah. So like,
also this has been like one of the worst offensive line plays in totality that I've seen in a long time.
That's a fact. That's
like,
a valid
the amount of penalties and the amount of undisciplined plays and like placement of hand, like it's ridiculous. They like literally sold a few games like against the Colts. I think one of the Jags games. I think against like the first Jags game, they got like 5 penalties in one drive.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, and the injuries have just been making the team inconsistent because like Nico Collins was having a generational year to start, then he went down, and then it was Stephon and Tank was playing bad football, and then
Stephon was playing good too when he got hurt.
Yeah, and then Stephon was playing all good. The thing is with the Texans, last year I thought Bobby Slovic was a really good OC, and he decided to stay. I think at this point this year, people kind of figure out Slovic because his offense loves big plays. And the offensive line was doing a great job in protecting CJ last year. This year, whether it's injuries or just lack of talent or just being figured out, a lot of teams are putting a lot of pressure on CJ and forcing him to get it out much quicker. So now CJ has to adapt his game. I mean, he still played well enough to be a playoff team. Like, let's be very clear.
Yeah. I think I saw somebody saying like he played bottom 5 or bottom 10.
That's too much hate. Now
we're just overreacting off of
But also,
probably
people
6-game stretch. It was horrible.
But
But
people
also
had him top
CJ
5, so
was-
I guess that's just like the expectations for him
But-
this year was really
But
high.
also, CJ was getting a lot of love for MVP start the season. If you guys remember, like it was like, why?
was mad.
No, he was my
He was my
MVP.
MVP. I'm
Like,
not gonna lie.
We
So-
consensusly
like
picked him.
that's also
That doesn't
tough.
mean
That's
everyone
a lot
agreed.
out of a second-year guy too. You know,
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna
that's
pull up
something
Patty,
Mahomes
man.
did. That's something
Yeah, I
Mahomes
thought he was
did.
gonna
You
pull
think
up
he's going to
Patty,
do
yeah.
what Mahomes did?
Yeah, I thought he was gonna pull up
Yeah.
Patty. I ain't gonna lie, that rookie season, but mind you, he had the greatest rookie quarterback season we've ever seen.
Absolutely,
But
absolutely.
I feel like when it comes to a lot of casuals, I feel like when we see bad O line play, they see bad quarterback play. When we see he's getting pressured and like he has hands in his face and like receivers aren't getting open, they see he's being inaccurate. Not that he hasn't been totally accurate. He's definitely missed some wide receivers. He's definitely missed some running backs on some screen passes. He hasn't been as accurate as last year, but I feel like a lot of the hate is people not fully understanding what they're actually seeing.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
missing
sure.
a lot of context when it comes down to watching football, which is, most casuals, that's fine. It is what it is. I don't expect this out of people on the
Right.
general. But overall, when it comes to the CJ right now, like it's kind of similar to
He's underperforming, like Kyler Murray. He's underperforming.
he is underperforming, and he's getting a little too shaken. He's letting things get into his head a little bit too much, which is causing a lot of underperformance in the last couple games in particular. Kind of similar to like T-Law, like that offensive line failed him so much, he thinks he has to do everything. Once your mentality kind of gets shot, you got to be like one of them ones to kind of reel it back in, because you can't just like let the nerves get to you. Basically, you can't see ghosts like Sam Darnold. Basically,
No.
Definitely got to put some more confidence back in him. Like last year, he was playing with confidence. It's just like this year, just
And
like
it affected everything. If you look at the decision making, the footwork, and the accuracy, it all was better. And I think it really does come down to the fact that the O line is so awful. Like there was one throw that he made, which was like legitimately ridiculous on the sideline to somebody. Maybe it was on a wheel route or something, where he didn't even move his feet. And it was because he was so worried about somebody getting to him, but he still chucked it on a dime. But it's like it's completely affecting his whole game. And it's not caping for him, but it's also just realizing what's happening. I mean, there's some plays literally where it's like, I don't care who you are, you're not getting the ball off. I don't care if you're Lamar Jackson. These guys are getting on him so fast that there's nothing you can do. But yeah.
We'll see next year once he gets another year under his belt, because now it's his turn to adjust to what teams are doing to him.
right.
And
Right.
with the staff, they fixed the O line. Obviously, Tank Dell comes back healthy. Maybe this time they decide to keep Stephon instead of letting him go.
Well, I think they have to keep Stephon because Tank Dell tore like 3 things in his knee. He's not going to come back to like the end of next year.
So I also think
be back at all.
I also think
depends on what Diggs wants for money. I'm not giving him a crazy contract. I'm being honest.
I think what they also need to do
What,
is
16
next
mil?
year. I think they need to commit. No, what's his name? Who's their running back name again? He used to play for the Bengals.
Mixon.
I think they need to commit to running the ball even more than they do.
Bro, Mixon still got juice.
But the problem is their
the
O-line
O-line
is
is
not
just
that good.
yeah,
That's
also
what-
their O. It's not like just like the Seattle offensive line sucks pass blocking, but
But they run the
sometimes they can
ball.
get holes.
Yeah.
But the Texans O line, the
can't.
holes that they get is so bad. Like
Yeah.
Mixon is literally every single big run that Mixon gets, Loki all Mixon.
It
Like,
is.
except for there's a few where it's like obviously they're gonna get some holes, but yeah, for the most part, it's
Yeah,
been so
Raven game,
poor.
bro. Mixon wasn't getting any holes. I'm like, God.
So I think they just gotta learn. Maybe since they're, like we said, they're a very young team. They thought they were going to be, we're going to walk in there, we're going to handle business again, and they didn't. They didn't to the level of what people
we thought.
expected from them. Yeah, so they'll be fine.
Yeah,
But
they'd be-
I guess Riddell, my next for my worst take. My worst take was I thought the 49ers were going to go back. I thought I was very high on the 49ers. Obviously, the one thing I think every time the 49ers kind of underperform, they get hurt. They get hurt a lot. So
Injuries was big, yeah.
injuries was very big. And I was one of those people that saying that Brock was going to ask for 60, because if they're going to go back to Super Bowl again, He's not looking at what Baker Mayfield making this year and saying, "Oh, I'll take
Dude,
that."
it's at least 55 right now. It's at least 55.
So now,
nope.
I
Not for
think
me,
that
dog.
the answer for the Brock Purdy situation is very simple. You just franchise him. Just franchise him. If he sits
Agreed.
out, bet it's fine. My name's Kyle Shanahan. I found a way to make it work with worse quarterbacks than you. So you franchise
Oh
him,
yeah, definitely.
and
I
you
agree.
do that. Now, even though they've been massively hurt, like Drake Greenlaw getting hurt in the Super Bowl, he comes back, he plays one game, then they put him on IR again, things like that. Brandon Ayuk, but they just had a lot of noise before the season because Brandon Ayuk did this whole thing just to basically take the same contract the 49ers offered him to
And then
start
get
with.
injured.
Yeah.
And
obviously,
play like trash all season.
yeah,
He didn't even play good.
yeah, CMC getting hurt because I was one of those people. I still think when CMC is right and healthy, it's a conversation between him and Saquon.
I don't think we'll
I
ever be
think
healthy again.
he was the best running back in the league last year. He was.
Performance-wise, yeah.
But like production-wise, he was.
But
Well, I mean, like,
next year,
yeah.
next year if they're healthy, I expect the 49ers to be a very good team again. I
do too.
They usually bounce back. Now, are they going to be a Super Bowl team? I don't know because the Eagles are still there. Whatever the Vikings do with Sam Darnold, things like that. But I was very wrong on what the 49ers were going to do this year. And it wasn't just injuries, which were a big part. They also underperformed too in some games that they should have played better in,
Mhm.
Like when they blew that lead to the Rams. The Rams had no business win that game.
That was
No
one of Brock
business at
Purdy's
all.
best games too. He was playing really well that game.
And we at least we learned that Brock Purdy can move. He's very pocket mobile this year. That's cool, Brock. But we're gonna need you to make some passes, bro. So
it's also just
we'll see how they come back next year.
yeah.
They'll be back for sure. You can't sleep on the 49ers. I mean,
Yeah, they're
they
consistent.
I'm still always gonna fight against that California Cowboys label because the Cowboys wish they had the success of the 49ers.
Yeah, I mean,
But it's only in the Super Bowl. That's like Trent's thing.
So they lose to the one guy everybody lost to, and that's what I would give them shit for it. I don't know. I don't know, man. I think that's unfair to hold them to. Oh well, they can't.
I think you just hate the Cowboys, bro.
It's just like California Cowboys
I'm
is so
playing, I'm
disrespectful as a title for them.
No, it is disrespectful.
It is.
As a Cowboys fan, that's disrespectful.
They've been to
When
what?
Jerry Jones would probably kill his son to get
Fourth?
back to Super Bowl at this point with all the shit he talks. I don't know about that, man.
Jerry Jones doesn't care. Anyway, no, yeah, I think my worst takes were I said the Broncos were on worst team of the worst team in the NFL watch, and I said the Seahawks were on worst team in the NFL watch, and I was just completely wrong on both. That's pretty much it.
valid.
I'm so
Lonnie?
curious to see how the Broncos develop over the next few years because they massively
Bro, they get a
overperformed.
good receiver, bro.
Yeah,
I'm telling
massive.
you. Because
Yeah,
people be using the advanced stats, acting like, oh, Bo Nix, he's a check down merchant, blah blah blah. Bro can
man, he
bro
making
can still
plays.
make throws. Bro still has
He's
a
making
very
the right
solid
plays.
offense.
I never understood
Right.
knocking somebody off for like making the right reads and
Same.
listening
It doesn't
to
make
your-
sense.
Because that don't look as sexy. F dot.
Yeah, of
You
course.
want to see the guy complete the 15-yard out
Of
and
course.
for the first down, then the guy who took the 5-yard check down and he got the first down. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
Nah,
if you win, you win. If you make the plays
Win.
that get you
Plays,
the
you make
win,
plays.
that's all that matters. Now, is there deficiencies
agree.
in Bo Nix's game? Sure, but I don't think that talk about how he can't make big throws. That's just cap. You're
Nah,
wrong.
we seen him make some big plays this season, so he got my stamp.
Yeah, he's respectable for sure. Respectable quarterback. Lonnie, what's yours?
What was my worst take?
Yeah.
I've had a few. I mean, the Garrett Wilson one, I blame Aaron Rodgers for. Funny enough, him and Drake London's stats are almost identical. I think Drake London has like 30 or more yards or something like that.
Hey man, good thing I didn't call Drake London top 10, man.
Hey, I think it was like me believing in Anthony Richardson. That I think that was my mistake.
Oh yeah, that
A
was
lot of
tough.
people found that shit. Ooh.
Oh yeah, I wasn't believe, bro.
That was
I
in
was
the,
hearing people saying MVP. I was like, bro.
I watch
It's
people
like,
say
yo, this
stuff
guy's
about him.
gonna
I
be.
couldn't
Bro,
believe
his
it.
MVPs. I'm like, dog, what?
The fact that it's still a conversation that Joe Flacco is maybe the best quarterback on that roster is nuts.
Shout out Joe Flacco. Man.
Like
He's still playing.
when you really he has good talent, but like AR, bro, Shane Steichen in his first couple of games made the game so easy on him. But the moment that toughness, that big body becomes a little brittle, oh man, AR's career is gonna be very shaky. Because if he can't take a hit, that's a lot of his play style.
Right
I
now,
don't believe he can develop.
he was crawling around his house
Yeah,
because of his back injury. He said he's crawling around his house.
I wonder
that-
how well he
That's very
takes care of
bad
himself,
for his
too.
career, bro.
I
He
wonder
should
how
have
well
just
he
never
takes care
said
of
that
himself.
in general, bro. He should.
He's done a lot of things he shouldn't have. Like
when
when he took himself out the game because he was tired.
that was bad.
By the way, Aaron Rodgers basically did the same thing, and nobody giving him shit for it when he said he benched
Yeah,
himself.
but one's 21, the other one's 40.
Nah, I mean I get it. You're right, but I'm sorry.
He was playing better after he did that, though. I will give him a
He
little.
had to. He had to
Yeah,
after
he
that.
had to. He
He
did.
had
He
to.
did. He did.
He
Have,
was questioning his heart after that.
yeah,
But like I understand one's 40, but you don't, Lonnie. You could be 45. You don't quit on your team like that,
Oh,
bro.
I agree. I
Yeah,
agree. I'm
yeah,
just saying
yeah.
context.
wholeheartedly agree.
One is built like one is like 6'4", 250, 8-pack, and the other one's a 40-year-old white guy. I'm sorry, like one
Don't
gets
put on your team,
more
bro.
slack than the other objectively. Objectively.
Don't
I
put
mean,
on your
both
team.
of them is still
One's supposed
bad.
to be
so-
athletic monster. The other one is
They
is a
both quit on their team. They both quit on their team. One of them's
Yeah,
going to
I
be a
agree.
Hall of Famer.
I
They're
agree.
both-
I
they're both
agree.
bad.
So, but I think I wonder how much this in this offseason, whether he can call Joe Flacco and just talk to him, because obviously when he saw Joe Flacco win a couple games, all of a sudden Anthony Richardson was on his P's and Q's. Then something happened again. He needs somebody to break him out of his habits too. Shane Steichen can only do so much, bro.
Yeah.
He's like, bro, I got a team to run, and I'm trying my hardest with you. To the point he's calling them out and things like that. So like, he also needs go call Peyton, go call somebody to fix this, because now there's a we got things to do, man. Like the Texans still going you like to believe they're gonna get better, and the Jaguars only
Jaguars
have
will be
they
back.
can only go up from here, especially if they pick the right coach to coach their team next year. We can't have this, bro. People calling you Tim Tebow. They're calling you Black Tim Tebow, bro.
That's crazy. Hey, Tim Tebow won a playoff game.
That's what I'm saying. Like they call you Black Tim Tebow.
That's
Like
good.
that should motivate you to
Man,
come out.
anybody
looking
in
your
NFL
best next
history
season.
better than Tim Tebow? No, I'm kidding. But
Like, don't do that, man.
Yeah.
Mm.
F dot, what's yours?
So I got two. The first one is I had Cardinals winning their division, the NFC West. I kind of fell into the collar after he came back last season off of that injury. That second half, he was balling. He was balling. Okay, he was balling. He was playing decent ball. So I'm like, okay, going into this season, got Marvin. I'm thinking Marvin's gonna get a little bit more production. Thinking, McBride and them, I'm thinking, okay. I didn't know how bad the defense was gonna be.
oh God, bro,
So that kind of like messed up the whole.
so
agenda.
trash.
But yeah, I had them going. I had them winning the division, and then my second one is CJ for MVP. I had CJ Stroud win MVP for sure. Like that was my guy. I'm like, yeah, CJ won MVP. The offense that they was able to create this offseason, I'm like, bro, there's no way. Like just seeing off of what he did last season, I'm like, there's no way he doesn't win MVP. But that's just unfortunate.
I'm not gonna lie. I still think Jonathan Gannon's a good coach, but you better get some defensive talent, John. 'Cause if you don't,
He's holding
need
that
to get
team
out.
together, man. I
Facts.
think he's a very good coach.
He is a good
Dude,
coach.
but you're a defensive head coach. Go get some defensive talent. You've been
he
there
needs
2
some
years.
talent over
I
there.
need you to get some
they
defensive
are-
talent.
Is
No,
he,
right.
how much input he has on the player, on picking players though? That's my thing.
Probably a bit. Like
he
I
does
think
have a
so
little bit.
far they're on the right track, right? Because like them making the executive decision to say Buda Baker, we're not trading you, was the correct decision.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The correct decision.
I think he's still a good coach for sure. Yeah,
And Kyle's been freaking bad.
but it's the same thing with
Oh.
Cliff. It's like you're a solid offensive mind, but you brought in D Hop, but it's like you didn't draft any good offensive players.
I'm sorry, they
Still
misused
crazy.
Marvin Harrison this year, and like I know Kyler like is all stubborn or whatever, but like you have to call plays for Marvin. You have to invest in Marvin.
Yeah.
Use the
Man,
top
I just
leverage
hate
on
that
him.
offense. I'm
That
not going to blame it on the coordinator because you can only do so much with Kyler. You can't throw down the middle of the field, but I just absolutely despise the offense that they run. There's too many 15-yard hook routes, not enough guys trailing across the middle, not enough misdirection. Hate it.
No.
Hate it. They use Trey McBride right though. But,
And Connor.
Did
James,
they? Did
I like
they? Because he only has one
I mean, they
touchdown.
didn't.
He only has
I mean,
one.
yeah, that part.
Well,
was-
that's because in the red zone, James Conner. Hey, shout out James Conner.
Yeah,
He
James Conner.
James Conner.
so reliable, bro. He might be one of the
I'm
most
a big fan
reliable
of him, man.
Remember when Steelers fans tried to act like James Conner was trash?
I don't know
Now,
why.
the first year when he left,
They
he-
tried saying he was like a running back merchant. That's what they tried to. I mean, an O-line merchant.
Yeah.
the
He's
first
a good-
year,
he's a-
the first year he was. The first year.
Yeah, because that old line for Cardinals is not even good this year. So
But now he's
he's
nice.
Yeah, the last couple of years, James Conner is a guy.
Man,
He's a guy
he-
for sure.
Top 10 combos.
for sure.
He's
He's not getting injured. He keeps
Easily
10,
top
probably
10.
top
I
10,
think
yeah.
it's easily top 10.
Yeah.
When I was making my top 10, I didn't have an order, but I didn't have James Conner, but he's like right outside.
You have Devon A-Chain in there?
No. I have Joe Mixon. I think Joe Mixon's the top 10 running back.
Yeah,
I'm fine with Joe
especially after
Mixon
this
still being
season.
there.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think I had Joe.
Brees.
I don't
You have Brees in your top 10?
Nah, Brees got to prove to me again. Like, I like Brees. I don't know what
Hey,
what happened this year,
Devon Close. Devon Close, though.
Devon's
Devon Close is
good.
top 10.
but he was pretty bad when
Is Bucky going in your top 10 after this season?
True.
No,
No, he can't be. Not
No,
yet.
I don't think he had a season.
he's not
that
better
good.
than James Conner, in my opinion.
No, he's not.
There's a conversation. Bucky's good. Bucky's very.
I love
very-
Bucky. I love Bucky, but
Like,
James
look, I
Conner
think
is
we
really
also
like that,
we
bro.
crown players a little too quickly.
I do too.
So, like, let me see him do it for multiple seasons, then we can have conversations. Like, you know,
I don't need multiple. If I think you're like, if I think the.
I don't need multiple seasons for Brian Thomas. Brian Thomas, you're a guy.
Yeah, BTJ is
Yeah,
that
but Brian Thomas is, like, for instance, Brian Thomas is a better receiver than Bucky Irvin is as a running back.
running back. Yeah,
Agree. That's
That's a
true.
fact. That's a fact.
I think. No,
Brian Thomas
You
is
have
like
100 with Mac Jones.
Like the reason I'm using
No,
Brian
no.
Thomas because if I said that about Malik Neighbors, all you'd be like, duh.
Well, Brian
Yeah,
Thomas
yeah.
is top 5 in
Yeah.
receiving yards.
Hey
But
man,
Mac Jones
hey, man.
and Trevor, come on, like, bro, he's balling, bro. BTJ.
And he
Hey,
is
but
balling.
low key, outside of
Give me
Jamar Chase and Jettas, this is like one of the worst receiving seasons if you
Low
think
key.
about it. Like,
Low key.
Because a lot of people got
top 5 is 1,100 yards.
a lot of people got injured. Like whatchamacallit, and so Jamar Jettis, even I think Jettis even missed the game. A lot of people got injured. Like let me think.
Calvin Ridley.
AJ
Nico
Brown got
Collins,
injured.
I don't know. I was just brain farting. Nico
AJ
Collins
Brown
got
would have at least 1,300 to see.
AJ
Yeah,
Brown
AJ
got
Brown.
injured, and he wasn't getting the ball a lot too.
Yeah.
George Pickens got injured. He was having a solid season.
Mhm.
Brandon Ayuk
Puka was hurt,
a lot
too.
last year. Got
Puka,
injured.
yeah. Puka and Coop.
Puka was hurt for a bit.
Puka was hurt. When it comes to freaking, why am I forgetting? I'm just brain farting a lot.
By the way, that's what
Um,
who could do every goddamn season. Like,
Hmm?
I still look at that catch he had on the sideline against the 49. How did he
That
catch
was
that ball
crazy.
and put his 2
That was
feet?
a crazy.
I
catch.
remember last year when I argued with Riddell. Hey man, I'm telling you, Puka next year gonna be the best receiver on that team.
Our argument was Puka his rookie year, but Puka this year is better than Cooper.
Oh yeah,
My
Tyreek.
God,
Tyreek, because Tua's been injured. So
Tua was injured. Tyreek, and
Yeah.
also, I just had it. I'm just having
Tyreek
one.
was hurt this year.
but
no. Tua
it's
was
just
hurt.
Tua was hurt.
Years.
Oh, right.
But also, we
Oh,
all of us had
Amon
this-
Ra. They were sharing the ball with Jameson Williams a lot. Jameson Williams had a good year, so yeah.
So
'Cause I don't know, it feels like a little disingenuous to say like, "Hey, I said Brian Thomas might be the best receiver in this draft. He's top 5 in receiving yards this year." But when you look at the stats, it's 1,100 yards. That's not really like, that's nothing crazy, you know. It's all like,
As a rookie, though, that's pretty light.
I mean, that's cool. I think we also had. I mean, I think one thing we also learned is how important quarterbacks. Like, 'cause remember, Early does this all the time. Where it's like, why did you pay this guy? Like, why did you pay Tua? Watch Tyler Huntley play, and that's why they paid him. The Dolphins couldn't
Bro,
even
I'm not
move
gonna
the
lie,
ball when Tua was out. Nobody's saying Tua is top. Like nobody's saying Tua is a legitimate guy, but most, if you draft a quarterback, if they end, you would be happy. Most people would be happy if they ended up being as good as Tua is. It's
Bro,
hard to
I'm not
be
gonna lie, the
that top
Tua
guy.
narratives
Yeah, that's
blow me.
true.
Yeah, it's hard to be that top guy like a Mahomes who's generational, Burrow's generational. If you want to say Herbert's generational, Josh Allen's generational, like those guys come every once in a while.
But
But if you get a
Shador,
guy
Cam Ward, or Tua, they're not busts. They're success.
No.
if
But
they
like,
end up being
Tua
Tua,
Yeah,
Tua
for
narratives
sure.
blow me, bro.
But that's a
Like,
great career.
Tua, up until the Texans game, probably had his best stretch of his career after he got back from injury.
Yeah, I mean, Tua, the obviously the limitations are there, but yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I thought Tua should get paid. I thought Trevor should get paid.
I used to go at Riddell about Tua.
well,
last
I'm going to
season.
say this, Brent.
Yeah, man.
I'm going to say this, Brent. Most coaches, except for maybe like Andy Reid and Kyle Shanahan, cannot win with their backup quarterback. It's very hard. Like Andy Reid has won multiple playoff games where his quarterback has been knocked out the game and found a way to win with his backup. That's hard.
And there's different levels of backup.
Yeah, Tyler Huntley was bad.
But I think Huntley and Skylar
Huntley was in the Pro Bowl.
bro.
Yeah,
Skylar Thompson is in the
Hey, he almost beat Joe Burrow. He almost beat Joe Burrow in the
Dude,
playoffs.
Skylar Thompson Skylar Thompson should not have been a backup
Wipe that
quarterback.
smirk off your face.
Like,
Yeah,
the fact that they were trotting Skylar Thompson out there is absolutely insane. It's like trotting out DTR. Stop it. They're not good
Tyler
enough.
was so bad that they signed Tyler Huntley.
Yeah,
And the only reason they signed Tyler Huntley is because he had some mobility. But let's be very clear. The Tyler Huntley was only good in the Ravens offense because he was mobile. He still was not a good thrower of football.
No, he wasn't.
And it's funny how it's funny, and this is something that I
He sold it to
spewed
playoffs.
last year. It's funny how the narratives on Tua, he can't play in cold weather. What happened in Buffalo last time he played in Buffalo?
He was
He
balling.
literally lost because the Bills kicker made a 55-yard kick. Other than that dude probably had the best game of his career in Buffalo. So all I'm saying is, if there's narratives on somebody and they disprove the narrative once or something, at least give him credit. I'm not saying that I'm going to sit here and say that Tua can just play lights out in the cold, but he did it one time in Buffalo, and everybody was saying that he couldn't. So that's what really moved me with that stretch of
Also, I
game.
think a lot of people forget the playoff game he did play in Kansas City was like generationally cold.
Yeah, that was
Like people died at that game.
Yeah.
People died at that game. So
I think Mike needs to be addressed a little
there
bit,
is
but-
something to say if you are a Miami team. Like for instance, when the Tampa Bay Bucks won in 2002, fun fact, when they went to Philadelphia and beat the Eagles, they had never won a game below like 40-something degrees. Never in their entire history, they never won a game below 40-something degrees. So there is something to that. But at the same time, like, look, nobody's ever going to say Tua is leading the Dolphins to the Super Bowl. You got to show it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
at
for
the
sure,
same
for
time,
sure.
you got to give Tua his respect because
It's just the narratives.
Yeah.
People and also Bill Simmons is such a casual, but he's like, Tua sucks. And it's like, dog, no, he doesn't. He does not suck. Like, what do you mean by that?
It
Like,
really
compare him to
depends on-
Mahomes and everybody sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Compare Mahomes and
that's the
everybody before
problem.
people suck.
The only way you can be good is if you are like a contender. Like, I mean, it's gonna be it's hard. If we're being honest, after Tom Brady retired, and even Tom Brady, like there was always a conversation between him, Peyton, Drew, Aaron Rodgers consistently, and there's like, well, I'm gonna leave it there, and then move on to the idea that after Tom Brady and those crop of quarterbacks, the expectation is always going to be so diverse. Nobody expected to have one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen play football right after Tom Brady just got finished playing football. So it's tough for these guys. I feel sorry for them, but not really because I like Mahomes. So
It's going to be a tough
Hey,
playoff,
man.
guys. It's going to be a tough playoff. Going through Mahomes, and he got the no one seed, so you have to go to Kansas City. Everything runs through Kansas City. It's going to be tough.
they're also going to have like a 22-day break.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's a long time. I mean, look, that's a long time to play, but if there's one team that can do it, it's the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Give a month
ready.
off,
Yeah,
who knows?
Well, mostly the starters because obviously the backups will play. But yeah, it's a crazy break. All right. With that said, anything else before we wrap it up? I mean, we're not going to do predictions for Week 18 because, like, who cares? The only interesting game though is the
Steelers,
Lions
Bengals.
versus the Vikings.
Lions, Vikings,
Steelers Bengals might be interesting.
and also
Give
technically,
me-
if you want to be like Falcons, Bucks, but the Bucks should win that game.
Well, the Falcons and the Bucks aren't playing, so the
Oh,
Falcons.
my bad. Falcons. My bad. I guess whoever the Falcons and Bucks are playing, because that
The Bucks are playing the Saints, and like the Saints suck. So expect.
Man, give me Vikings.
And
Give
the
me
Falcons play the
Vikes.
Panthers. Like the only one that's like
I
substance is
look. I understand why people are gonna pick the Vikings, but the Lions keep winning. They just
Yeah,
keep
give me
winning.
Lions.
Give me Vikings, dog.
Lions
Give
keep
me the
winning.
Vikes.
I'm not.
Because
That defense is
they
suspect.
lost,
though.
they lost their defensive tackle who's having a breakout year. They already lost Hutchinson. Like
Lions keep winning, bro.
Wait, they lost DJ Reader. Is DJ Reader still healthy?
And if Brock Purdy didn't forget how to throw a
they lost their
football
other
twice,
DP.
then they probably
Yeah,
lose that
but
game.
look, the Lions keep
He
winning.
didn't. He did though do that.
The Lions
No,
keep winning.
no. I'm not dragging it. I'm just saying that
I'm not
the
giving up
Vikes
on the
are
Lions.
like
I'm
that.
saying they keep on stacking up these injuries, and I'm getting worried.
Like
They'll
I feel
they'll
really
get
bad.
David
For them. It's
back,
the
though,
best
right,
Lions
for
team
the
they've ever
playoffs?
had.
Well,
I'm going
their
Lions.
defensive tackle is one of their best players. You could argue he was their second or third best defensive player, and now he's out for the season. So
Man, who's guarding Justin Jeff? Who's
They got a
guarding
lot of
Addison?
guys on that IR, man.
Also,
I mean,
shout out to Kirby Joseph though. Shout out Kirby Joseph.
Hey man, I've been seeing a lot of Kirby Joseph's tape recently. That dude's dirty, bro. He's a dirty player, bro.
Yeah, he
He
has
is
some dirty hits. He has some dirty hits.
I will say this though. Oh my god, I forgot. Oh, never mind. Come back to me. I forgot.
One thing that I want to say, I'm Sam. I'm the first one to do this on the show. Give me Michael Penix. I'm jumping on the train right now. Michael Penix will be good. I'm not saying that he's gonna be like top. I'm not gonna say top 10 because it's absolutely asinine to say that after 2 games. But I think that he will be. He is a starting level quarterback. He is a starting level quarterback. I'll tell you that much. And that boy got some ice in his veins. He got some ice in his veins. Shout out
Penix. Break out next
As
year.
a notorious Penix hater. I was a notorious Penix hater last year. Notorious. Because
Hey
he was
man,
on
the NFL put up that shootout him and Jaden Daniels had. You can watch it right now. They put the full game up. They said this is amazing. We can't even wait.
That was a great game.
Great game.
Even the game before that, he still his first full game as a starter. He still played pretty solid.
He was solid at the.
He wasn't crazy, but he was solid.
Shout out for him being prepared to handle the situation. Also, Kirk Cousins not being that guy that's not willing to help a younger guy out. You know?
For sure.
So he
That's
had.
fine, Brent. You can say Penix is average. What I will tell you that is not average, that arm ain't average. That arm ain't average. That's all I'll say on that
He
one.
was known for a big arm when he was playing in Washington. I mean, my thing is, at this point, when it comes to Penix, I like Penix. I was coming in the draft. I said I like Penix. I wanted Penix to be a starter day one. I hated the Falcons drafting him. It was annoyed me.
My favorite clip, by the way, Riddell, is that clip that we made.
It still makes no sense. Like the Falcons really. Oh my goodness!
Riddell, what if Penix becomes that guy that they hope him to be? Will the pick still be not worth it?
Yeah, because they gave Kirk all this money.
No, that's cap.
Yeah. So my thing is like, I personally believe that Raheem Morris never wanted Kirk, and I'll stand on that. And because honestly, the season he was having was not bad enough for him to get benched. It just wasn't. But I do want Penix to succeed. Just like meet me halfway and fire Raheem Morris, and we'd be good. You know what I'm saying?
There's a difference because Penix has played 2 games in the NFL and Kyler Murray's played like 4 seasons. So I feel like that's a W for Penix if you're saying he's no better than Kyler Murray.
They play completely different too. I don't know why.
Yeah, like bro, what?
Penix. Okay.
But by the way, I know it's too early to do this. This is what I was going to say. The quarterback, just the market. You want to add the draft and free agency. This might be one of the weakest quarterback like offerings we've ever seen. You got Kirk, probably getting minimum. If anybody wants the carcass, that is Aaron Rodgers. Right?
Sammy D.
Like Sam Darnold might be the prize of. Look, no,
he is the prize.
He's the prize of the quarterback class, so to speak. If you're not drafting a quarterback, because other than Cam and Shador, who I think a lot of people believe could play right away, the rest of the quarterback rookie class is not looking good. Ironically, for people are saying this is apparently a very good running back class.
Yeah,
a
his
very
running
good
back class is great.
So it's kind of crazy when you look at it. And I understand I was a notorious Rodgers hater. Notorious. Look, for you to put him in the same conversations as Peyton and Tom.
Oh, I'm still doing that.
I mean, skill wise,
No. When I
it's
put
more
him,
than just skill. That's what this year shows.
I don't think
it's more
Payne's
than
in the
just
same
skill. You got to
conversation as Tom.
put in the work.
I don't think
You gotta
Payne's in
put
the
in the
same
work.
conversation.
The fact that his best option
hate that,
might
but-
be for him to retire. Even me saying the Jets weren't going to be good, I didn't think he was going to be like the fact. You want to talk about people who look great? Zach Wilson, they throw the pass all season. Boy, chill on the Broncos, looking great.
All I'm saying is
Looking
I'm
great.
not gonna. If you want to talk about lack of playoff success, fine. I will never fight that with Aaron because he's played like bummy. But I'm not gonna let this 1 year destroy how I think of Aaron. I still think he is one of them guys.
No, I'm not saying he's trash. I think you've learned the difference between him and Peyton and Tom and other
within
quarterbacks.
leadership,
just leadership,
and just ability to work.
He's everything a quarterback should be talent wise.
Mm-hmm.
But we learned in order to be the best, it's more than that.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You got to be a great leader, and he's not.
No.
Say whatever you want. We learned this when Greg Jennings came out and said something. Greg Jennings was his boy.
Ryan Clark's still angry. Aaron Rodgers threw that dot right in between his hands in the Super Bowl. But anyway,
I mean, that's cool, man.
Shout out! I love Ryan Clark, by the way.
Yeah,
I love
he relied too much on his talent, and he thought his talent was going to carry him when he should have.
Thank you.
The fact that at one point we have to
bro.
question your commitment as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. We should never question that as a quarterback. We should never question that.
Mm-hmm.
We did that plenty.
Yeah.
I did that plenty this year, and I was right. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Now, hopefully, I kind of think it would be funny if the Raiders are like, "Hey, man, we'll give you a minimum deal or like $20 million to come over here," and I'll laugh my ass off when they do it. I'm like, "Oh, I guess they just want to fire."
Nobody gonna do
their
that.
coach.
Nobody's doing that.
All
I think the whole league's learned. But...
All right, last thing, and then we'll wrap up. Super Bowl. Who do we want to see in the Super Bowl? Not who do we think. Who do we want to see in the Super Bowl? We'll start off with F. Dot.
I'm a little biased. I gotta go Ravens. I gotta go Ravens and Lions, man. I want to see. Actually, no. I'm gonna go Ravens, Philly, man. Come on, let's get the two cities, cousin cities down the street, Philly and Baltimore. That'll be a great little, Super Bowl. That'll be fun.
I'm surprised they didn't go Baltimore and Washington.
Nah.
So that can be an easy. It can be an easy win. It can be an easy win.
Easy win. We ain't worried about that. I feel like
that's an easy win.
Like everybody would be like, okay, it's Philly. The Eagles, they beat us already. They're a great team, the best team in the league, possibly.
All right, okay.
I don't know about that. I'm not saying Aaron. You told me Aaron Rodgers not top 10. All right, bro. Now we have a conversation.
Who do you want to see in the Super Bowl, Lonnie?
AR isn't even a top 10 great quarterback. That is
the Chiefs are going to be
unreal
there.
to say.
Who do you want to see? Not who do you think will be there? Who do you want to see?
I want
random
Philly and the Ravens.
Oh, another Phillies Ravens. Okay. All right. Michael, who do you want to see in the Super Bowl?
Oh my gosh, this one's tough, but I love Pat. I would love to see him win a third, but I want to see Lamar get one. Lamar's been my guy. I said Lamar was the second best quarterback in the league last year, and he did me dirty in the playoffs, but I just love Lamar, and I think the work that he's put in, the disrespect that he's been given out his entire career up until probably this year, I want him to win one. I would want them to come out the AFC, and I would probably, out of any of them, I don't really care about the NFC, but I'll just go the Vikings because I'm rocking with Sam Darnold, man. Sam Darnold's moved me. So yeah.
Okay. Random,
you're nasty, bro.
I'm gonna be I'm a big fan of what I thought the story was going to be. Fully healthy Chiefs, fully healthy Lions. The stories, Like
Oh, never
to
mind.
see
I
if the
apologize.
Lions could finally finish their story against a three-peat would be amazing. And I really thought the Lions. I was really high on the Lions, man. I really was coming to the season, and it's a shame that the football and injury gods are doing their damnedest to make sure the Lions don't make it. So I think that would have been an amazing Super Bowl to watch. The chess matches. At one point, Dan Campbell third quarter is gonna be like, "Fuck it, I'm going for my own 35, 4th and 1," and it would have just been amazing to see that because you were talking about two really to see the savviness of what the Chiefs could be, despite this not being their most talented team, against what at the start of the season looked like this juggernaut that was just chugging on all cylinders. The Lions were. I think that would be so amazing.
Okay.
Nice too, though.
Some good matchups. For me, I would obviously Chiefs. We lot. Mahomes is the GOAT. And the NFC team. And the NFC team. Of course,
Man,
my
Random
NFC
won't
team-
want to be there for those. Random and Lonnie won't want to be there for those combos if they three-peat.
Bro, if they three-peat,
Combos we better have if they get
I don't care what
three-peat.
anybody says. If they three-peat, bro, Mahomes is
Now I'm
there.
gonna be nasty the same way Eli
I'm
Manning
being
fans
nasty.
are nasty.
Mahomes there.
I respect. That's why I'm not mad if you're being nasty, Random. So I'm not mad at you.
I'm gonna be just as nasty. Nah, he could beat Brady when it matters. I don't care.
Oh, here we go. No, I'm gonna have to. not
Hey
be
man,
like that.
no Brady fan can talk to me, so I do the same thing. I'm a Giants fan. Eli Manning, Timothy. Okay, so
Not
Chiefs.
Timothy, but
It's gonna be
Moment.
Chiefs versus Rams because the Rams are my NFC team. It would have been the Falcons, but they betrayed Kirk, and they're not gonna make the playoffs. So it is what it is. But I like the Rams. I've liked the Rams for a while now. So to see them go to the Super Bowl would be very interesting. I rather the Chiefs win over everybody, but if the Rams won, I wouldn't be too upset because Stafford would get a second Super Bowl. There would be legitimate conversations of him not only making the Hall of Fame, but whether or not he's a top 10 quarterback, and people will respect him.
Man, you should make the Hall of Fame either
Respect
way.
him.
But
If Eli makes the Hall of Fame, he needs to make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be a
I've already
tragedy.
said my piece on.
oh, let's do that. Oh, that needs to be a combo. We ask Riddell who's better as a player, Eli Manning or Matt Stafford.
I'm gonna change the conversation to who I rather have in the playoffs, and I'm gonna say Eli Manning over a lot of people.
I'm taking
I'm
Matt
gonna
Stafford.
say Eli
Baby.
Manning over a
I'm
lot
taking
of
Matt Stafford
people.
in the playoffs, baby, over Eli
Over
Manning.
Eli?
I'm taking him.
Eli.
I'm taking him.
Eli in
I'm
the
taking
playoffs
him.
is legendary. I ain't gonna lie. He's
I don't care,
like
man.
that in the playoffs.
Matt Stafford in the playoffs is
You
nice.
said Brett Favre? All right,
Bro, Brett Favre is not. Come on, bro.
Hey,
Like,
man.
stop it, bro.
All right.
Oh,
Oh, actually, I said that was the last one, but okay, let's do this too. Who do we absolutely
Goff,
no
Allen, Burrow,
way
Herbert?
we ever would want to see this? Who are the least likely people you want in the Super Bowl? Like, who do you just will throw up if they're both in the Super Bowl?
Man, I'm
I'll start out reverse order.
Out
Who I would throw up if they went to the Super Bowl? Out of the current contenders,
Elway and
Oh.
Favre.
oh,
my
I think I
God,
know.
no.
I was thinking Broncos for a second, but I'm gonna go Steelers. I would hate if the Steelers went to the Super
I
Bowl.
was
I'll
gonna
be
say
honest.
that to you, man.
I don't want to hear nothing about Russell from Steelers fans and
Oh,
Russell Wilson
God.
fans. I was
Still
hating.
one
Like
of the worst, bro.
you would assume I would go with Bills, but I don't care if Josh Allen wins one, and I don't care if Lamar wins one. But I do not want to see the Steelers even get the chance to win one. No, Russell Wilson, no, hell no.
Oh my God, the nasty combos that would be.
Oh my
happening.
God, the Steelers would be so nasty, bro. Oh my God, it would be
It'd
so
be like
nasty.
TJ Watt all over again. It'd be TJ Watt all
It'll
over
be
again.
disgusting work.
Where's
As for
TJ
my
Watt been at the last 5 weeks?
actually, hold on, I might actually change it. I'm gonna change it. The Steelers are up there. I'm gonna change it. Someone else could beat the Steelers. I'm changing it to the Chargers. I don't know.
Man, Chargers.
Bro,
What's wrong with the Chargers?
bro, I know someone is gonna start. Oh yeah, the Chargers are gonna run the AFC West. Oh, Justin Herbert is the best quarterback in
it's the
football.
Chiefs.
I
situation.
know
Oh,
those
so you mean
conversations are gonna happen.
early? Is that what you're trying to say? It's early.
Everybody, it was like, oh yeah, Chargers are running AFC West. Justin Herbert, top 5, he's the best quarterback in football.
Nah, they would be saying that.
God, they would be saying
Justin
that.
Herbert for
Bro,
sure. They love
If
just.
Taking Herbert top
If
5, bro.
if I talk to Mookie again, he'll be
Oh my God, Mookie will go crazy on the Herbert.
Mookie-
He would go
Oh my
crazy on
goodness, bro. So
Mookie would be
I'm
banned.
going Chargers in the
Bad.
AFC. NFC, the team I don't want to make the Super Bowl at all. Honestly,
Bro,
the
honestly,
Vikings. The Vikings. I don't want to see the Vikings win the Super Bowl. I don't want them
Not
to-
a Sam Darnold guy.
I'm not a Sam Darnold guy, and it's even a little bit more of a bummer that they decided to build this amazing team the year after Kirk Cousins leaves. It's kind of annoying.
Oh, that's another.
So it's
yeah.
okay. Because if the Vikings win the Super Bowl, the revisionist history they're gonna have on Kirk Cousins' career
it's gonna be bad.
Disgusting. It's gonna be
Corey, you've never destroyed anybody in the chat. You just
They're gonna
made
start
yourself
saying
look bad.
Sam Darnold's better than Kirk, man.
they say Kirk was the problem the entire time. It's like, oh yeah, it's
gonna be bad.
I don't want to see a Vikings versus Chargers Super Bowl. Can't have it. Don't want it.
That's a nasty Super Bowl right there.
Random.
nasty.
Who do you not want to see in the Super Bowl?
Look, I don't want to see look, as much as I think watching Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield make it, completing his he's finishing his story a la Cody Rhodes style. If he plays the Steelers or the Broncos, that would be a horrific game.
God, that'd be
Yeah,
nasty.
suck.
Be
Jesus,
horrendous.
that would suck.
Horrendous. And look, I'd rather Mike Tomlin win it than Sean Payton, because Sean Payton would walk around like he's fucking like Andy Reid or Bill Belichick, and you're not.
Yeah, he would.
And
He already thinks he's better than both of them. But
well, I mean, look, you're in the NFL. I'm glad
You have to
that
think you're the
confidence,
best.
bro.
Yeah,
I'm glad you have that confidence,
that's
even
fair.
though you're wrong, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But I think other than watching Baker somehow find a way to keep his team in both those games, it would just be really bad. It'd be a really bad one. And then also, if the Broncos find a way to win that game, the Bronco fans that would pop up out of nowhere to get in Riddell's face, he's like, Bo
Oh
Nix
my
did
God.
something. Bo Nix did something Mahomes couldn't even do. He
Bro.
literally did something nobody else has ever done, like this and that. I'm like, shut your mouth. Like, we still
Yeah,
picking
that'd
him to
be
finish third in his division next year. I don't care. Like, I don't want to deal
bro,
with it.
numbers be up, bro. If
Yeah,
Mahomes
that
chokes,
would
I
be-
don't want that from Mahomes either. No lie.
Michael, who do you not want to see in the Super Bowl?
Oh yeah, I mean for the AFC, it's got to be the Steelers, man. Russell Wilson used to be my hero, bro, and then I just realized he was a cornball. The stuff with Marshawn Lynch blocking his number, nah, man. I hate Russell Wilson. Absolutely despise him. I think he's a cornball. I think he's a fake. Yeah, the whole nine.
Hey, man,
And
that
I
cornball
swear,
got him scared. I don't know what to tell you.
early will put him in top 10 combos if he wins another Super Bowl.
And he's
That's
wrong.
what early
That's
will do.
okay. And he's wrong.
That's what early will do. And I can't hear early do that because I might crash out. I might have another crash out if that happens. And then on the NFC side, honestly, man, like if it was 2 years ago, I'd say Philly, no question. But the more that I've stopped caring about the Cowboys, the more that I've respected Philly. I just hate their fans still. But I would probably say probably the Packers, because I think Jordan Love's a little overhyped. And if he wins one, oh my God. I mean, Manny will be putting him top 3. Shout out Manny, by the way. But Manny will have him the second best quarterback in the league. So yeah,
Man, it would make Aaron Rodgers look so bad. So I'm kind of here for the chaos. But at the same time,
Yeah, it would be pretty fun. I'll be honest. It would be pretty fun. Lonnie, who do you not want to see in the Super Bowl?
I'm a Patriots
Sorry,
fan.
I know what you are, but what am I?
Yeah, I'm a Patriots fan, so I hate Josh Allen. I hate him with all my heart. I hate how good he is. I hate I hate that he has such a beautiful fiance. I hate the way he walks. I hate the way he breathes. So yeah, I don't want Josh Allen to make it to the Super Bowl. And then also, I love Baker Mayfield, but Hefe.
Oh,
start
I forgot about FA, bro.
Oh, start capping.
Hefe is unbearable enough as it is.
Yeah, we would not hit
Oh
it in the
my
Hefe.
God. I remember it happened like yesterday.
We love
like,
Hefe though.
someone-
But with the
someone
Bucks,
said
it's
Hefe
unreal.
about because Baker he just posted something about Baker and like and someone told Hefe to stop. He's like, "This is all I know. This is all he knows." Just like
I know. If we said Baker wasn't top 10, like if we have our discussion and somebody says Baker's not the top 10, like Hefe will crash out.
Hefe will
Bro, the
crash.
Winfield. We was talking about
It doesn't
Winfield.
matter if
Kyle
it's 4
Hamilton,
o'clock in the
bro.
morning. Hefe will somehow wake up instantly and defend. I love Hefe, but I couldn't take it. I couldn't take
Oh
it.
my
If
god,
the Bucks made it to the Super Bowl.
Oh
I would
my
That
lose
low key
my
might be
damn mind.
that's a great
That's a
point.
great one. I didn't even think
that's
about
great.
Hefe, but yeah, Hefe will be unbearable.
I'm so mad we had that Mike Evans.
I'd have to block him.
conversation.
I'd block him off everything.
No,
I'm
Q,
going to
we
witness
still
protection.
love. No, I don't hate the Steelers. I just hate the.
I
just hate
love.
Russell Wilson.
I fuck with Hefe, bro.
I fuck with Hefe, but I go into witness
Um,
protection if the
boom.
Bucks made the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He'd never
I'm
find
still,
me. He'd
yeah,
never
I'm still
find
mad we had the whole Mike Evans conversation where he's like, well, he's going to have better numbers. I'm like, nobody in their right mind, even you's not putting him in the same conversation as like the best
but
receiver.
shout out Hefe for winning the fantasy league with an all Bucks team. I don't know how the hell he did that shit.
Never seen any.
I'm
I
so
never seen
annoyed he
anything
won
like it.
Bro,
Oh my
it was
god.
it was Mo just decided to pick like 5 Texans players, but Hefe literally I've never seen anybody pick more players from their team.
That's
No,
crazy.
from
I
one
respect
team.
it. I respect
Wait,
it.
so everybody on his fantasy team was was on the Bucks.
Not
Yeah, it was like
everybody,
at
but
least
a lot.
4.
Chunk.
It was like
Oh.
all of his. It was 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah, because I played him in the finals. My team freaking was ass in the finals, but
Same
I
line.
played him in the championship round, and he had Baker, he had Bucky, he had the Buccaneers defense, he had Mike Evans, and he might have had their kicker too. So it's like he and the Buccaneers dominated the Panthers. So it's like
Yeah,
I had no chance. to be
easy
honest.
one.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Great
Buccaneers.
one. That's a great one.
F dot.
Shout out Hefe.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta go Steelers. Like, come on, who really wants to see the Steelers in the Super Bowl? Like, let's be honest. Like, Steelers
wouldn't
one of
they
the
even
most
have Russell
annoying.
Wilson?
They have one of the most annoying fan bases. Like,
Excluding Q.
yeah, my fault, Q, bro. We fuck with you, gang, but. I'm sorry.
Oh, the TJ, bro. For 3 years,
Oh,
I
I
heard
just saw he said I'm
TJ
not
Watt.
Oh, we're talking shit about the Steelers.
Fuck with you,
I
Q.
know, I
Bro,
know.
not the Steelers, bro.
Don't do that, bro. Please.
God, that would be hard to watch. And then NFC, I really don't have any smoke with NFC teams, but if I had to pick, I kind of want to ride with Lonnie with the whole Bucks thing. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I forgot about Hefe and stuff. I ain't gonna lie. That sounded kind of cool too.
He'd be like, "Yo, Baker top 5."
Yeah,
That's what
I
I'm
think
Nah,
that's-
he would go like Baker's the best quarterback in football. Bucky Irving is the best running back in football. Mike Evans the best wide
the top
receiver.
3
Mike
receiver
Evans
all
is the top
time.
5 receiver.
Oh,
Because you know he already put
I'm
him
gonna
top
leave the
10.
chat when he says that.
no,
like
I'm
Mike
gonna bring
Evans.
this. I'm gonna bring this up to Hefe again, but when it comes to Mike Evans conversation, how he's had like 8 straight years of 1,000-yard whatever, and that might make him top 10 in Hefe. So I'm gonna ask him this next whenever, like Sunday or whatever. But Najee Harris is on pace to. Well, he's gonna get 1,000 yards for the 4th season in a row. So if Najee Harris, does anyone think Najee Harris is elite?
Hell
Hell
no.
no.
He's-
Yeah.
So if Najee Harris gets 1,000 yards 4 more times, is he gonna be top 10 all time?
Bro, let's just go through
It's
10,
nasty, but do
and
you-
then let's
Hey,
see Hefe
hey,
try to
hey,
argue.
it's-
Let's see.
Because
Like, let's see
their
FA
yards
try to
are similar,
argue top
Riddell.
10.
The yards are similar. Just barely 1,000, just barely 1,000, just barely 1,000.
I was
No,
so annoyed with that whole conversation. I was like, we're not.
Yo, Lonnie,
doing
you
this.
gotta have that combo with Kyle Hamilton and Winfield.
Ugh.
But
Oh,
that's
that one was
Bro,
true.
when he said, but Kyle won but he said, but Winfield won a Super Bowl. I was like,
Him and Early just decided to chime in like Antoine Winfield because Early just hates every single young
Then-
player in the entire
then
NFL.
Early said, oh well, you know Winfield's dad. I'm like, doesn't that work technically in favor of Kyle? Kyle doesn't have a NFL father, and he's still better. Like, I don't know what to tell.
Like
Winfield-
Early
Yeah,
actually be
yeah.
surprisingly right a lot, but like when something when the bias gets in the way, it goes all the way out the window with him. All the
Disgusting.
way
I
out.
try to be like
He be
as
cooking,
unbiased as possible when it comes to like Raven players, but
Right,
For
Hefe
being a Cowboys fan,
he takes.
I've seen way too much
Yeah.
bias for me to not try to be objective.
Hey, the
Yeah,
only
I
times when it comes like bias, but like I still can prove my case is Eli
Facts,
and
though. That's
Mahomes.
all that matters, though. Okay, be biased, but at least prove your case, though.
I can prove my case for Tom Brady anytime because he's Tom Brady.
No, that's valid.
Hey man, I can argue my case for Dak. Wait, just kidding. No, I can't.
I respect it. I respect it.
Try.
Overall, it seems like the Super Bowl that will be the worst for open field for the people here at the very least, because we know some people who are not here who love this Super Bowl, and that'll be Buccaneers versus Steelers.
Yeah.
If Buccaneers versus Steelers happens, bro,
That'd be
That
such
would
an
be
ugly game
disgusting.
to watch too.
The only
Oh,
reason
my
I would probably is because I'm like, I just want Mike Tomlin to finally shut Terry Bradshaw up. Because I don't like how Terry Bradshaw be talking about Mike Tomlin sometimes.
For
I'm like,
sure. For sure.
Terry be slandering Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, he does.
I don't
He hasn't done the same thing like Bill Cowher. No, so Terry, you might be the most overrated multi-championship winning Super Bowl quarterback out there, bro.
Troy
You
Aikman
had-
also exists.
Huh?
Troy
Troy
Aikman.
I'll
no,
put-
let's not do
I'll
that.
probably
I put Troy Aikman above Terry Bradshaw any day.
yeah,
Terry
Troy
Bradshaw-
had some
Terry
really-
Bradshaw benefited from having Hall of Famers all around him.
What did Troy benefit from?
Look
Nah,
at
Troy-
those Steeler teams, bro.
Look at those Cowboy teams. What are we talking about?
Those
Yeah,
Steeler teams.
I hate when we do that because Joe
But
Montana.
also
had
look at this.
Hall
Look
of
at this.
Famer
Look at.
all
I
around
understand. You said look at those Cowboy teams. Those name other than Darren Woodson and Charles Haley. Name a Hall of Famer on that defense.
Deion Sanders.
Okay, one. Jack Tatum.
What
Okay, hold on. Okay, Lonnie. Jack Tatum. Mel Blunt. Like Mean Joe Green. He had his Terry Bradshaw's entire
No,
defensive
I'm not
line.
saying that Terry Bradshaw is not overrated.
Lonnie.
Also,
It's literally
I'm
not
saying
the same.
One
It's-
guy had Emmett Smith, Michael Irvin, Deion Sanders.
Okay,
the
one
second
guy
greatest
had.
ever.
Okay, bro. I'm literally trying to say I understand Troy Aikman had players, but it's
Troy
not
Aikman
the
was
same
nice,
at
though.
all.
One of the greatest, arguably the greatest O line of all time.
Bro had arguably the greatest defense of all time, with his entire D line is full of Hall of Famers.
Yeah,
We want
I'm not
to
saying it's not
attack.
close. I'm not saying it's not close. I'm not saying one's above the other. Terry might have had more talent. Troy might have more
Man,
talent. I
Troy
have to look at the
Aikman.
rosters.
Troy Aikman
I'm
was
just saying.
nice,
Troy
bro.
Aikman clears Terry.
Troy Aikman
Clears him
clears,
as a
bro.
quarterback.
Troy Aikman
Clears him.
clears. Troy
I'm just
Aikman was.
saying that in
Troy
terms
Aikman
of how
was
much
low-key.
talent they had, they're in the same room.
Bro, Troy
Yeah,
Aikman was
a lot of
clears him.
If we really look at the quarterback from back then, a lot of those quarterbacks back then, like there's a lot of teams that were very stacked. Like so,
See, I've always wondered why people, when they talk about old ones, they don't do it from pre-free agency and post-free agency, because that is a definite line.
yeah,
Like as great as Terry was, he never had to worry about Mel Blunt going to another team. Never had to worry about it. Like Tom Brady had to, Mahomes had to. All these, the new ones, that's a big line, and nobody ever talks about it. Free agency legitimately changed football. It
Bro.
changed how football is run, played, and all that, and nobody ever talks about it.
Man, shout out Jimmy, but look what happened when he went to Miami when the free agency was open.
Yeah.
yeah.
Love
All right.
Jimmy, by the way.
With that said, that's all we got for today on our returning episode. Week 18 is this week. The only game that people are really going to be locked in for are the Lions versus the Vikings for the number one seed in the NFC, and maybe the Steelers Bengals, but the Bengals may have nothing to play for once the Broncos pretty much guarantees a win.
They
So
lose
with that,
game.
yeah, I think if I'm the Bengals, I'm like I have the Broncos Chiefs game on, and the moment I go like, oh yeah, they're winning, I'm like, all right, everybody, just sit down. I don't care. Like I wouldn't care anymore at that point. There's nothing to play.
No,
It's a shame. Joe
it's
Burrow.
really their fault, though. I mean,
All
those
my
beginning of the
To
season.
all my betting fans, just look up who's close to their incentives and act accordingly. That's all. That's the only advice I got for you.
Yeah, Zach Ertz made some bread on that recent touchdown.
A
So
lot of
that's
people are close to their like 1,000-year marks or whatever. Just gotta look at who has incentives and stuff like that, and then go from there. Especially last games of the season, they try to force feed. So
Oh, Mike Evans is about to get fed. You know they want to keep that streak.
Yeah.
I think he's at like 800 something yards right now. Hold on, let me check real quick. He
Oh,
might
so
have- he might
now
hit it.
you want to talk about now? You
Oh,
want
he only needs 85 yards to hit 1,000.
oh,
He's
they
about
got
to
feed
get
his ass.
fed.
Oh, bet the over on 80. Bet the over on
Bet
80.
that over on 80 for sure. For
Who,
sure.
Who else? Now, hey, with that said, next week we'll come back, do our playoff predictions, have good analysis for it, and it should be really good. Anything else?
Oh, it's good to be
That's
back,
it,
man. Sorry for
Good to
being
be
late.
back, man. Facts.
Are you good? Yeah, let's
Can't
keep
wait for the
rolling. Dude.
playoffs, man.
Let's ride.
Also, Kevin O'Connell, Coach of the Year. I said it.
I went. It's either
I like
Kevin
Or Andy Reid. Bro,
Reid.
people gotta give Andy Reid some love, bro.
It's tough, man. When you got the guy, you're never gonna get it, man.
This is what I said about when I was making some
Or Dan Campbell,
a video about
Did
this.
he not win Coach of the Year the first year Mahomes was there?
It's like no, he won the last time he won Coach of the Year was 2002. The
Yeah,
thing is,
Gosh,
that's
that's
crazy,
actually
bro.
sad, bro.
2002.
Yeah, Andy
bad,
Reid
bro.
usually won, bro. They gotta give him
At
one.
least people know what Andy Reid is.
So
People aren't.
if you want to make the argument that Kevin O'Connell because he doesn't have that guy for quarterback, fair. But I think you can also make an argument that Andy Reid's team was not that good this year, other than having one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Yeah.
I think Dan Campbell deserves mention because he's found a way to win with all
For
the
sure.
injuries on.
Yeah, but this team
for sure.
is really good. So it's
Yeah,
like,
but look at bro got his entire. It's like feels like his entire defense is just on the IR.
I mean, and they're 14-2, so.
yeah, that's what it's between. If you had to pick a guy between Kevin O'Connell and Dan Campbell, I just feel like Kevin O'Connell just has a better case than Dan
He
Campbell.
does have a better case, but I wouldn't be mad with either, bro. Both of them deserve it, to be honest.
I think it's whoever gets the 1 seed. To be honest.
That might just be the decider.
But the Chiefs already has a 1 seed.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
but
saying on the NFC
Oh,
side.
on the
I don't
NFC
know
side.
if they'll
For
give
the
it to
NFC
Andy.
though, I think Dan Campbell. Even if Dan Campbell beats Kevin O'Connell, I still think Kevin O'Connell has a better case than Dan Campbell.
to be fair, the Vikings were not projected. Nobody thought the Vikings.
Yeah, and they weren't projected. That's
That was
another-
something that literally everybody here, obviously, but like everybody in the world missed on them.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know who was saying the Vikings had a chance.
Nobody was. Nobody thought Sam.
Yeah, I thought they were going to be a 4 seed, but I will say this: when I saw the additions they're making, I'm like, bro, this team is really good. They just need a quarterback.
For sure.
Sam
They had
Darnold,
they had
a
a talk.
quarterback.
But like
Yeah.
everybody knew that like if the Vikings were the best situation for a rookie quarterback to go to because of the offense, it was just
All right.
what is Sam gonna do?
Quick question, Riddell, before we go. So,
Mhm.
what if Sam Darnold wins 2 playoff games?
If he
Are you
wins,
gonna like him, or you
It's
gonna be like,
context.
I'm not-
We can talk
it
about this
depends on
before.
how he wins, because like Baker won. No, he won 1.
Yeah, but almost he had a
But
great
he
game.
beat the Eagles. He did have a solid game, and he almost beat the Lions. It really
Lions.
depends on how he wins those games, because when I watch Sam Darnold, there are times where he's becomes a playmaker and he makes the right plays to win games, but there are turnover worthy plays that he does do, and it just doesn't, the other team doesn't capitalize. And there are times where he's very conservative, or he just makes a bad play and it's not capitalized. So the Vikings, I'd have to see if Sam Darnold can be the guy like Nick Foles was the guy for the Eagles for me to kind of give him his credit. Because I eventually gave Baker his credit. I'd have to see a little bit more from Sam in the playoffs. Now, if it's just a situation where it's like, oh yeah, Jettis, go be a dog, then it's like, the defense, So we'll see. We'll see. He shall. But all right, with that said, that's all we got for today. Appreciate everybody who tuned in for today's podcast episode. And playoffs is right around the corner, so it should be really good. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe. Appreciate the super chats for context clues. You have a good one. Take care and peace.